understand it. Let's say at this point the Padres are like, you know what? Why are we acquiring international slot money? We have no assurances he's coming here. Let's go sign X, Y, and Z. Or let's wait this process out without taking on more money. To me, that's like you get to the 1 yard line and you're like, I'll kick a field goal. Like, you got this. It's the 11th hour. We've talked about this for 44 days.
Scared money don't make money,
Thank
bro.
you. Like, AJ, like,
trade everything
this is the time,
for international pool money now.
This is the time to buy another phone if you're AJ Preller. He should be more on the phone.
Buy another Toyota Corolla.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about it for 40 days. He talked to Peter Seidler about their infatuation with Roki Sasaki.
Do everything you possibly can.
Yes. And if it doesn't happen, so what? You haven't done anything else.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to not field a team next year.
Okay, so you're not. So you can't sign JB Wendelhecken or whatever his name is?
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, will join us at 3:30. The latest on Roki, a decision is imminent. The posting period is open. Padres, Dodgers, Blue Jays remain possibilities. What's interesting is the jumping off point that Brent just played there in the open about, you know, they've done all this work. I mean, AJ Preller and Peter Seidler even spoke on this when Peter was still living. And now we saw Sheil Seidler even today, who filed this lawsuit over a week ago. Sheil Seidler on social media basically posting a link to a story written by Tom Krasovic saying Peter would have loved to land Roki Sasaki. So, like, Sheil Seidler remains vested in the idea of the Padres landing Roki Sasaki to the point that she's tweeting about it a week after she filed this lawsuit.
I know that you liked my tweet today of Doctor Strange, but you had no idea what it was about.
It was like, I'm just waiting, right?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I thought it was a do something meme.
No, you had no idea who that was, and you liked my tweet.
No, because let me look at it. It meant we're waiting for Roki.
So
what did you put?
In Avengers Infinity War, when they're trying to fight Thanos. Yes.
Oh, when he's doing the
Oh, look, Jim's
features.
married. Did you know?
Yeah, it's great. Awesome. Yeah. When they're trying to fight Thanos, Doctor Strange uses the time stone to look in the future of all the possibilities on the upcoming threat and which ones they win. Of 14 million possibilities, they only won one of them. In this case, the Dodgers.
Didn't get that.
I know you didn't.
You
didn't get that at all.
I thought it was a
You didn't get that
meme.
just from one finger being held
Because
up?
you've never seen the movie.
I don't get it.
In this case, Thanos is the Dodgers. Inevitable. The Padres, there's one shot. They got one shot of this thing.
Like Eminem.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping and sitting here constantly refreshing my Twitter.
Well, of course you are.
For that one chance that when Jeff Passan tweets where Roki is going, that it's the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, but is it as unlikely? You've said this before with this Spanos Thanos character that it's a one in a million, but we're not looking at it like that. It's not jaw-dropping. OMG, he chose the Padres. I mean, we're all going to be
are
thrilled.
Not completely stacked against them like it was with Thanos and Infinity War.
Or are they? And we're going to find out. I mean, if it is LA, we'll say, of course it was LA. We knew this all along. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to put any credence into that. So let me into this.
Thanks,
let me start
Mike.
There.
Mike on the YouTube chat. It was perfect, Jim. I understood it completely.
Good job.
I think you're the only person on the planet that didn't understand it.
No, probably. Here's where I want to start. And I don't want to read anything into it because it's just a theoretical.
I will.
But it's the article that Sheil Seidler retweeted today from Tom Krasovic. Okay. Right. So this is at the UT. And Krasovic basically theorized that the Padres could put in opt-outs.
Because of the ownership situation?
Yeah. So the reason that maybe this would make sense for Roki is that the Padres could put in two opt-outs. One, if the GM changes. Right, because Shohei Ohtani has an opt-out if the GM or ownership changes with the Dodgers. And then the other opt-out is if there's an ownership change. So maybe if the Seidler bros no longer own the team, there could be some type of opt-out. Therefore, the reason Sasaki would maybe choose the Padres is he actually controls leverage in the matter. He actually has some additional power and influence. I don't even know if he can do that, by the way, as a guy coming over from the posting period. But this idea that maybe with opt-outs, because of the instability, that could actually help land Roki Sasaki. Do you buy that?
I mean, you got to get step one first, and he has to pick you. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts today. In particular, Jon Heyman didn't say much, but he mentioned like the ownership spat here between the Siler Bros and Shield in this lawsuit. You know, that happened all before they met Roki for at least a second time and probably a first time. So you would think that them being a finalist would be a good sign that all of the things that are happening with this lawsuit and Shield and the Siler Bros didn't really affect his decision or hasn't affected his decision much because they're a finalist. I feel like if it was going to affect his decision, the Padres, it wouldn't be this far in with the Padres having a legitimate chance to land him. That's how I feel about that.
I like that theory. Why are you throwing on field at Petco Park if you don't have any interest in pitching here?
Right. You have to have interest in either going to the Blue Jays, the Padres, or the Dodgers to get to the point of hometowns. And because of that, I'm not going to sit here and think that the lawsuit with Shield against the Siler Bros is going to affect his decision at all.
So Krasovic spoke with an agent who was given anonymity that said it would be allowed to put in contractual safeguards to become a free agent if certain circumstances arose during the first 6 years. Again, a change in general manager or a change in ownership.
It's like the thing with Ohtani. Ohtani has that with Andrew Friedman.
Right. It is like that. I just wonder.
But these are all hypotheticals.
Complete hypothetical. Complete. Yeah. I get it. It's a complete Guess what else is a hypothetical?
Him coming here?
Yeah, the 4 hours you spend every single day talking about him.
I know.
So, I mean, Tom Krasovic writing about it is no different than me speaking on it.
But I just want people to understand.
Because I put no stock in it, but.
Yes, but I think people are going to read that and take it as, you know, that this is going to happen if they landed Sasaki. That the safeguards in this contract or whatever is going to happen because of this.
The most Padres thing ever is they land Roki Sasaki and then the contract includes this and then they have a change in ownership and he bails in 8 days. Like hey, Roki has chosen the Padres. Oh, ownership change. Oh, just kidding. Deal's been opened up.
Deal's over.
Honestly, I guess my point is, would it make them more likely to land him if they gave him those types of assurances? And I would basically probably say no. All these teams would do the same thing. I mean, the Dodgers have stable ownership, but if you said, listen, if there's a change in GM or a change in ownership, would you allow me to opt out? They would probably say yes too. Like you said, Ohtani just had that in his deal 1 year ago.
I think that obviously all of this stuff was discussed. It had to have been, but I don't think it's going to be top of his mind when he's picking where he's going to go. Like if he truly sits down and is like, all right, I'm going to San Diego. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's like sitting there being like, man, I'm kind of worried about this situation though. I'm sure it's something that has been discussed and talked about.
A good point.
But I don't think it's going to be like, man, if I go here though, that lawsuit with the ownership, that's a problem.
Right. It's kind of like for our listeners or like you or I, like, am I not going to apply to a radio job because the parent company is in a financial
people that you'll never see?
Yeah,
now,
like
you'll see probably
the finances of a publicly traded audio company aren't what they were in 2019. I'm making this up. Like I'm still going to probably take the job. That's so far up the ladder. I mean, the Padres are one of 30 major league teams. They've had success on field. What more do you really need to know as a 23-year-old? Does it really matter if it's John Seidler or Bob Seidler at the top of the organization if you're Roki Sasaki?
What have I said like for the last couple of weeks here?
That WWE Raw is going to be huge on Netflix? That Thanos has Infinity Stones?
All right, let me just refine. What have I said about Roki's decision making and what the number one factor
development,
and who have I said is going to be or could be the most important person for Roki when he makes a decision?
Ruben Niebla.
John Morosi today on MLB Network talked about the Roki decision and said this about who he thinks the closers for the respected clubs that are in on him will be.
Lauren, we are in the zone where we can certainly find out about Roki Sasaki's choice on where he's going to begin his major league career. Now, we know the three teams. We saw the inspired pitches from Matt and Harold during the A block, which I thought were riveting and very true to life. But what I'll say about today is this. pay very close attention as you hear signings start to happen around Major League Baseball or potentially trades. Because remember, the finalists for Sasaki can begin to acquire additional international signing bonus pool allocations by trade. This is one piece of the MLB CBA that's really relevant today, that you can trade, whether it's players for signing bonus capacity or additional allocations here and there. Pay close attention today to see which teams are signing players and which teams are trading for additional bandwidth, because those are the three finalists. There was a report yesterday from The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal, Fabian Ardaya reporting yesterday that the Dodgers with their players were having the additional meeting with Roki Sasaki, and we'll see how that final sales pitch comes to be. I would say this too, Lauren. I'm really intrigued by the way in which all three of these teams, whether it's Mark Prior with the Dodgers, Ruben Niebla with the Padres, Pete Walker with the Blue Jays, the pitching coaches, I believe they are the closers here, to have the communication with Roki Sasaki and his agent about how they can help him reach his full potential over the next 6 years to then eventually sign his Ohtani-like contract many years into the future by achieving his top potential as a major league pitching star.
All right, so you heard
we're arguing off air.
Yeah, we heard John Morosi there say he believes that the closers for these teams would be their pitching coaches. Mentioned Ruben Niebla. I have said, and I've thought this for a while, that Ruben is the most important person when it comes to landing Roki Sasaki, because he's going to be with him every single day. He's going to be the closest coach on the team with Sasaki every single day. And for a guy who I think has stated, and I don't think he like definitively has, but it's kind of discussed that development is his number one priority. Well, Ruben Niebla is like the first person in line when it comes to development with the pitching staff.
Right, but my point remains the same from a month ago, which is if you're choosing in this scenario, what is it about Niebla, who's regarded as a good pitching coach, one of the better in baseball, but how do you separate Niebla from what he just said in there in Mark Prior?
Or
that's my
pitching
point.
Coach in Toronto.
Exactly. That's my, and I don't know how to answer that. As in, what is it that Sasaki has in Niebla that he wouldn't have in Prior? I think that's a legitimate, fair question. If the pitching coaches matter, I agree with that. That completely makes sense. But if we're going to sell Niebla's success stories in development, wouldn't the Dodgers have similar success stories in development? Is the point?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
how long has Mark Prior been their pitching coach?
It's been longer than Niebla, right?
It's been longer than Niebla, but also I don't believe he was the pitching coach during Kershaw's heyday when he was winning all those Cy Youngs.
He wasn't.
If you look at the track record for Ruben Niebla,
it's a good one.
It's pretty damn good.
I agree with that.
You have Corey Kluber. You have Blake Snell, both Cy Young Award winners under Ruben Niebla.
Right.
You have reclamation projects in like Michael Wacha. You have a guy who was a reliever for his entire career and then turned out to be an all-star and got a big contract from Kansas City and I think finished second or third in Cy Young voting this past year in Seth Lugo. Michael King this past year under Ruben Niebla's watch. Like,
Your point is valid.
I saw it today, and we can play later in the show. Now I got to break. Corey Kluber was on with Eric Hosmer and specifically was talking about how great Ruben Niebla was as a pitching coach. We'll get that sound for you later today, but I'm just saying, and I don't know what separates them. I'm just saying from a Padre standpoint, only looking at them, the most important person, in my opinion, in trying to land Sasaki is Niebla.
You could be right. I would just say this, and we can get to it on the other side. Prior's been there 5 years, Jim. Just hear me out for a second. Okay? Objectively speaking, he's been there 5 years. 3 of those years, the Dodgers led baseball in team ERA. Again, for whatever it's worth, that's just a factual statement. Much more on this. On the other side, we've got Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio with 330. The latest on Roki. Don't go anywhere. San Diego Sports 760 is 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday with the Grant Your Hand Cash Contest. That's every hour, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword at the top of every hour. Then enter sportsfd.com. Presented by Palomar Solar, Solar, Battery, and Roofing. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, will join us live at 3:30. Robert Murray. The latest on Roki Sasaki coming up as well. Listen, I'm all for the Ruben. Let me be clear. This is not to be argumentative on Niebla. I think Niebla's done a great job. I think he really has. And I think they have developed pitchers well. I'm just saying in this game of high-stakes poker, is it enough? I think that's a fair thing to say. Is Ruben Niebla enough? When you got the LA Dodgers breathing down your back, and they've got a good pitching coach too. I don't know if he's as good as Ruben Niebla. It's probably subjective. Roki will make that determination. I don't know anything about Toronto's pitching coach, nor their track record for development. I think it's at least half decent from what I've read or listened to. But I think Ruben is very well thought of. Will it be enough? We'll find out.
I hope it is. I'm just going by how he's kind of widely regarded as one of the best pitching coaches in baseball.
Yep.
The high praise that this organization has always showed for Ruben. The fact that he was their number one priority before they hired, or before not hired, but before they traded for Bob Melvin and got Bob Melvin from the A's.
Yep.
And then making sure that, he's here long term. Starting the offseason, the move that they had to make was Ruben Niebla. If you tell me right now, so if you have to pick one to stay, Ruben Niebla or Mike Schilt, who are you picking?
I love that. Most people would pick the pitching coach.
I'm picking Ruben Niebla.
Yeah.
He's more important to the team.
Probably true.
Than I think Mike Schilt is, if you want to just break everything down. But I don't know what Toronto and LA have as far as their pitching development that is better than the Padres, but I'm just riding with Ruben and hoping he can take this one home. That's how I'm viewing this whole thing right now.
Yeah, I'm on board for that, and I hope that's what ends up being the case. That would be phenomenal. It really would be phenomenal. I mean, if Roki's decision, like he has said, or Joel Wolf, his agent, has said, he wants to go down as one of the greatest pitchers ever, well, then of course development is going to be a big part of it. Most people believe he's not a finished product, despite his successes in Japan. He's still just turned 23. He's not finished, right? He's probably still improving. There's room for growth in Roki Sasaki. So that is probably a big piece of it. Truthfully, I think Ruben, is a larger piece of it than the infighting between the Seidler bros and Schill, even though the infighting might have more consequence on the direction of the organization moving forward. Shoot, they might be sold as a result. Do I think that impacts Roki significantly? I don't. And you're right. I think Ruben Niebla has more of an impact on Roki than Schill Seidler has an impact on Roki. So, I understand that point. When you're a 23-year-old, it goes back to our point from earlier. If you work for a company, what impact does the CEO have on your day-to-day? Not a lot, probably.
Yeah.
By and large.
Like Bob Pittman, do you think Bob
is the CEO of iHeart?
Yeah, Bob Pittman, is somebody that does not have a day-to-day operations here at
doesn't
iHeart
impact. Does not things happen?
Yeah.
There's hirings, there's firings, there's freezes, there's 401ks, and that starts at the top and impacts everyone.
Right.
And that's the one thing I would say. Where the organization matters is what's their payroll. That does impact Roki Sasaki. You want to win? The payroll matters. Now, maybe they can keep a payroll in the top third of baseball. You want to be developed. Schill Seidler has nothing to do with it, nor does Jon Seidler.
In this case, she's just a cheerleader, like we all are.
Right.
We're all sitting here hoping that they land Sasaki. The meetings are done. The in-person is done.
It's rose time,
and
man.
now we wait. It's probably, I bet, down at Petco Park going to be long nights for the next couple nights if Roki doesn't make a decision today or tomorrow or whatnot. Like a lot of sleepless nights down at Petco. Not like they're not sleepless already because AJ never sleeps, but there's added stress to all that because you're waiting for that text. You're waiting for a call, and you hope that when you get that call, you get the news of, hey, he's picking you guys.
By the way, the one thing these three teams have in common today is they've spent no money internationally. There's been crazy money spent. Giants used most of their pool on a top prospect. The Mets spent $5 million on a player earlier today. The Tigers spent over $3 million on a player earlier today. A lot of teams have spent their international money. Guess who hasn't? San Diego, Los Angeles, and Toronto.
And it's funny because the Giants, who were in on Sasaki,
yep,
and they got told early in this process, actually not early, I think the same day all these teams got
You're
told.
right.
So
This week,
yeah. When they got told they were out, man, they swooped in. They made a trade today for more international money. They signed.
They got the number 2 prospect in the world behind Sasaki.
And he would have been the number 1
if not for Roki.
Exactly.
I think he's the number 1. He is. He's the number 1 position player in the world, a shortstop out of the Dominican. But to your point, the benefit the Giants have, now they're not going to get Sasaki.
Right.
But then again, 2 of these teams won't either.
Yes.
If it's out of San Diego, LA, Toronto, 2 aren't. And if you're not spending, the one thing San Diego can't do is what the Giants just did.
Now, again,
we don't know.
Said yesterday, what international signing that Preller has made an impact on this team right now.
That's fair.
Like, we have yet to see what Ethan Salas can do or Leo DeVries. Adrian Morahone has been relegated to a bullpen guy, not much impact. Like, you know, the players that he has signed have gotten traded away.
Yeah.
So again, how much is it going to hurt this team and franchise going forward if, say, they do miss out on Sasaki and they don't get in this signing period? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's smart of the Giants to be like, all right, you guys are going to go fight over Sasaki. We're going to just get all the other players that are out there.
Well, this goes back to our point from yesterday. The reason it's even more high stakes is some of these teams are losing out on players that had committed to them that could be impactful. You're right. There's no guarantee. But out of the players being signed today, someone here
will be a major leaguer.
A very good one, too. I mean, there's a very good chance.
Yeah. And you're right. The Padres standpoint have not been great on international signings, performing at the big league level. Who says that the guys that the Giants signed don't turn into superstar players?
It's all possible.
Yeah.
And again, another reason why the teams that lose out on Roki are losing out potentially on more than just Roki Sasaki. All right, Robert Murray has chimed in, Baseball Insider. You'll hear from him the latest on Roki Sasaki. We do have Aztec basketball tickets to give away for Saturday. I'd forgotten when we were talking about this yesterday. That's Brian Dutcher bobblehead night for all fans. Saturday at Viejas Arena, San Diego State, UNLV at 5 p.m. Be listening for a chance to win a pair of tickets coming up today. And Mike Fehren from MLB Network Radio joins us live at 3:30 right here on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State with a big win last night over Colorado State, 75-60. Miles Bird had a career-high 25 points in the win. Next up, the Aztecs will take on UNLV this Saturday at Viejas Arena, 5 p.m. tip time, 4 p.m. pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. And it's January 15th, so Roki Sasaki can officially sign with any team he wants to. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, who is an outstanding voice. I mean, an outstanding voice in all things Major League Baseball. We'll talk to him about Roki, but also the Padres between now and opening day March 27th. By the way, ESPN announced today the Sunday Night Baseball game of the year will take place in Metro Park. Padres Braves. Sunday night, week 1. The Padres will be on Sunday Night Baseball at least 3 times in 2025. None of the 3 games announced today are against the LA Dodgers. Yeah, Roki's first start as a Padre. I think that's Sunday night at Petco against the Braves. Yeah, dude. We're here for that. That's incredible. You should have quote tweeted it and said that. It was his first start because it's game 4 of the year. The starting rotation will be Michael King, Dylan Cease, followed by Yu Darvish, and then Roki Sasaki. So there you go. Yeah, just a debut against Atlanta on Sunday Night Baseball. Metro Park in front of 45,000 people. Yeah, it must be nice. At a renovated Gallagher Square. Perfect. The rodeo in town. 14 on the medal. That we number. What's we work with for him. He retired his number before he ever pitches here in an effort to get him here. They have used all our resources to try to land this guy. And if they beat out the Dodgers at their full strength, yeah, it does feel like beating Thanos in a little sense. You just beat somebody who had all these Infinity Stones, and you're like, what? We just won? We got Roki? Are the Infinity Stones like if you're playing poker, you have a lot of chips? What do you do with them? No, I'm serious.
Leah in the chat says Sasaki won't sign until the audio is fixed. Well, then I guess he's never signing.
Well, he's never going to sign. Well, the audio stand by. Hopefully, will be better on YouTube.
Infinity Stones, John, are not like poker chips. They're not. They're they're not.
Can someone fix the audio on YouTube? All right, I want to hear from Robert Murray.
Yes.
Okay, MLB Insider. He's at Fansided now. This is Robert Murray earlier today. The latest on Roki.
Yeah, as far as the Sasaki sweepstakes go, we've always thought on this podcast, and there's a lot of other people who have shared this opinion as well, that it would ultimately come down to the Dodgers and the Padres. And the fact that they're included in this comes as no surprise. And the Dodgers, they've been incredibly motivated to upgrade their team in any way possible. That's come with trades. It's come through big spending in free agency, and now it's coming in the international market. And they're trying to do. I mean, they got Yamamoto last year, and they're trying hard for Sasaki this year. They've met with him yesterday, and they had star players involved in the meeting there, and they are trying their best to convince Sasaki to be the latest star player to come to LA. But they have plenty of competition, and I think when it's all said and done, their biggest competition is going to be the San Diego Padres. The Padres, they have been very quiet all offseason, but the one consistent thing that's been the case with them is that they are motivated for Sasaki. They want the player, and when AJ Preller wants a player, he does anything possible to go and get that guy. I would not discount the Padres by any means here. They are a prime suitor, in my opinion, and my guess, even from the start and to even now, is it comes down to the Dodgers and Padres. And the Blue Jays' involvement in this kind of caught me off guard. I didn't know that they were as serious as they were in the Sasaki sweepstakes as they evidently are. But by all accounts, they left that meeting with Sasaki in Toronto. They felt confident and they felt encouraged by how it went. And he would obviously be a tremendous fit in Toronto. He would headline the rotation for years to come. He would be a long-term building block in that franchise that really right now lacks long-term building blocks. It makes all the sense in the world to me for Toronto. I think they're on the outside looking in as we speak. But the thing is, and I think it's the case with everybody here, is information is incredibly hard to come by. It is Joel Wolf, his agent. He has held a couple different press conferences where he's like shared, what he can share, but he's kept a lot of this under wraps. And teams involved, people involved, are even asking me like, "What are you hearing?" And it's pretty unique. Kind of reminds me of Yamamoto last year, which he was also represented by Joel Wolf. But there's a lot of people who do not know exactly which way he's leaning, which leaves this free agency a pretty big mystery.
Where do you think he announces it, or who do you think announces it first, Passan or actually Roki Sasaki, like on his Instagram page?
Yeah, I love that question. I think it gets reported before we hear it from the player or the agent. I think what gets reported is maybe from those that cover the teams or the sport that a team is out.
Because now I feel like I gotta refresh my Instagram every 3 seconds and also refresh X and Twitter
because he's on Instagram.
Yeah, that's his.
Yeah,
that's
but
his main source of social
this isn't
media.
college football. I've entered the portal. My time at Michigan was awesome.
I mean, look, he's gonna say something.
You think he breaks his own news? Because that's hard to do in professional sports. Oftentimes it gets scooped.
It depends how fast he can get it out there after he tells the two teams that he's not going to his decision. Because once he does that,
or do you even tell the two teams you're out, or just announce it? That's how you find out.
No, I feel like he is going to be very respectful in this process, and he'll let those teams know before, and not do this thing of like, announce where he's going without talking to the two teams he's not going to.
Like me and you would do it on the wrap-up show and like ask for super chats, but he is like going to be respectful.
Yeah, we would be like, we wouldn't like if we were going out to the beers with Darnay and we decided we're not going to go, we wouldn't tell him. We just wouldn't go.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Where are you guys?"
Yeah,
we're not.
We're not there.
Sorry.
It's not happening.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think at the end of the day, Jeff Passan beats everyone is my guess, because he beats everyone on everything. And I think he's so well connected to these agents and these teams that he's going to be the one to break the story. Maybe it is the player himself that breaks the story. I think we might also find out that someone like Dennis Lin tweets out the Padres are out. And by the process of elimination, if the Toronto reporter says Toronto's out and the San Diego reporter says the Padres are out, or the Dodgers reporter says that could be the process as well. That's what happened this week. Braves out. Giants out, whoever's out, right? Cubs out, Rangers out.
And it was all reported by
like
their
these local.
own local.
Yeah, and then Passan was
people.
way later in the day. We thought it was down to 4. MLB.com put an article up that included Seattle earlier this week as one of the 4 finalists. Then Passan's like, "Yo, here are the 3."
You got notifications on?
Nah, I live dangerously. You know me.
Ooh, dangerously, huh?
I mean, I think I do, but I don't like get a notification even when I have my notifications on.
Well, then,
like, does it ding? I'm serious question.
No, it just pops
pops
down.
up. I get that too.
Okay.
I don't do it for Passan, should I?
I think. I mean, I have it ready to go.
Well, perfect. If one of us has it, we're basically the same person.
But we're not together 24/7, John.
We basically are.
Yeah.
You'll text me, and then I'll text you. No, I'm prepared for this to happen. I'm also prepared for you to be on the road. Playing golf in Northern California, as if golf in Northern California.
So this is going to dip
precedent.
into next Monday.
Well, we're not working next Monday.
I know, but
I'll be. I mean, we'll do wrap-up shows.
But the signing period ends the 23rd. If he waits until the 20th or the 21st, man, I don't know.
I mean, are you doing it on Inauguration Day? That's the 20th.
Yeah,
it's also MLK Day. Like,
right.
you doing it on the?
I would think, like, just looking from a pure like PR standpoint, right?
Okay.
You got to do this on Friday, because
Friday.
You got NFL playoffs on Saturday and Sunday. You got inauguration on Monday.
Tuesday?
Well, Tuesday is pushing right up to it.
No, Tuesday's the 21st.
I know, but it's pushing right up to the end of international signing period. If teams have to wait that long, I feel like that's kind of messed up.
Oh, you're saying almost that's like unfair because they have other international signings they might want to handle.
Yeah.
If they don't get Roki.
Like, hey man, can you let us know by the weekend? Because if not,
That's a long weekend, man. If
That's
you're
a
AJ
long
Preller
weekend,
and
bro.
you're sitting there at 5:01 p.m. Pacific and you hear from Joe Wolf, we'll get back to you Tuesday. That's long, dude. You have just spent years in pursuit of this guy. Now we have a long weekend?
Dude.
I can't deal with that.
I can't deal with it. Imagine AJ Preller.
And by the way, all weekend long, because we won't have that information, I'm refreshing every second, all weekend long. You're going to be on the golf course, second hole, refresh. On the green, refresh.
I know.
Missing putts, refresh.
Probably have it like side by side with me. So when before I hit a shot, I can see my Twitter feed.
You should hire someone to hold your phone and let you know if Jeff Passan tweets.
We are actually going to like a golf course that provides caddies. So maybe I'll have the caddy do it.
That's perfect.
I love it.
All right, much more on the Padres' pursuit of Roki Sasaki. Plus, we're going to hear from Corey Kluber on Ruben Niebla coming up as well. And then Mike Fehren from MLB Network Radio. He'll join the show at 3:30. We have Aztec basketball tickets to give away for Saturday. It's Jon and Jim. All right, we're going to hear from Corey Kluber on the impact of Ruben Niebla, Padres pitching coach. We are waiting on Roki Sasaki's decision. So that's what we're literally waiting. We are like everyone out there listening to us, watching us, consuming this, right? I mean, we're just in the thick of this right now. We have followed this story since the day the season ended. By the way, have you seen this report from Jack Harris?
I was just looking him up.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so Jack Harris covers the Dodgers and does it well at the LA Times.
Mm-hmm.
So he tweeted this. As the Roki Sasaki waiting game begins, the Dodgers have largely stood pat amid the opening of the 2025 international signing class. Several top players have reportedly signed elsewhere. Meanwhile, the team is exploring potential trades for more pool money per sources. So the Dodgers are actively, this is again Jack Harris, he's not just saying it. The Dodgers are pursuing the idea of adding additional money. They have less money than the Padres in this equation right now. They have less money than the Blue Jays as well.
It'd be nice if someone reported in this town the Padres are doing the same thing.
It has been reported, well, that they were going to be quiet once the signing period opened. You're right. I don't think anyone has reported that the Padres are actively seeking to add international money. Right? Have you seen that reported?
And today was the first day you could officially do that.
Correct.
And things don't happen overnight. You got to I'm sure. Here's I think the timeline looks like. Could be completely wrong. I think today is all about these teams either trying to acquire international money or thinking of contingency plans or getting things ready to go. Like if they receive word within the next couple of days that Roki's picked you, then it can go into overdrive of all right, we're doing everything we can to get some money.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's like once you get the assurance that he's coming your way, that's when you just call up Cincinnati and Milwaukee like, yo, we need your money.
That's why I don't believe this is going to drag out till Tuesday.
Right.
Because
if you go longer than that,
if that were the case, like you think you want to get the deals as far as trades go for international signing money to happen sooner rather than later. Because by the end, teams aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, here's some international money. Like they're going to be, I don't know how it officially works, but don't you think the teams that have spent most of their money can't trade away money?
Yeah, I don't know the particulars in that. That's a good point. And here's the other thing. We said that hopefully this doesn't drag out until Tuesday, but Tuesday is only the 21st.
Yeah, and the end's on the 23rd.
The 23rd. So I guess in theory, it can drag out even longer than that.
But the reports are he wanted to make a decision between the 15th and the 20th.
Or were the reports that he didn't want to make a decision until the 20th, I thought? Why did he want to make a decision between the 15th and the 20th?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I thought it was, hey, he's going to slow play this and he's going to make a decision. Remember, we freaked out about it on the air. Like, we really have to wait longer? Again, I don't know how imminent it is, but would I be surprised if we saw a tweet from Jeff Passan today saying where he's going? No, I wouldn't be shocked. Tell me what you have.
All he says yesterday is that Sasaki will decide on his team by the closing of posting window on January 23rd. That's all he says.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he has to, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if all of a sudden it drops here later today that the Dodgers have made a trade for more international pool money, would I get scared? Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm getting scared by any bit of news, but then again, maybe the Padres do the exact same thing.
And I just, not only do I want Sasaki here because I think it would be incredibly fascinating to watch him pitch, and it would be, for me personally, must-watch television. So I care about my enjoyment of watching the Padres, and I want to watch Roki Sasaki pitch here in a Padres uniform and help this team win. I think that would be incredible for this team in this city. But, when I look at and I see things like the Dodgers and all the people that cover the Dodgers saying it's a done deal. It's a done deal.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, you were sending me tweets earlier. I mean, ESPN LA is like, they've rubber stamped this thing. All their hosts are saying this thing's done.
Done deal.
He wants LA. He's already made his choice. They might look right in the end, but give me a break. Give me a break. You, ESPN LA host, have no clue. You're not on the inside. You don't know what Roki's doing. We've never said at any point we know what he's doing.
No.
We've never come in the air and be like, he's choosing San Diego and here's why. Or said he's not choosing San Diego and here's why.
Well, it's also because every single Dodger fan is at their peak cockiness.
Yeah, I get that.
Coming off a World Series.
I get it.
They just signed the reigning Cy Young Award winner, or not reigning, but recent Cy Young Award winner in Blake Snell. You brought back Teoscar Hernandez. You still got Ohtani and Yamamoto and Betts and Freeman. And they're at an all-time cockiness high right now. So, of course, they're going to be sitting there and be like, this is done. And if they don't land Sasaki, it won't matter to that fan base or the people that are, proclaiming that it's a done deal, because they're still going to win 100-plus games next year.
Sure.
So it's like the feeling will be out of Dodger fans, and all of their media will be like, well, good luck. Missed out. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. You just missed out on winning a World Series.
Right.
Right?
No, 100%.
Padres fans, if they don't land Sasaki, it will be like, apocalypse. What I mean? DEFCON 1.
And also the other point to consider, and like you said, I mean, there's no guarantee that Ethan Salas is going to be even a major leaguer, let alone a starter for 10 years or
200 in the minors.
But think about this. Their last 2 day one international signings. Think about this. Day one, the signing period opens 2 years ago. Who they signed? The number 1 international player in the world, Ethan Salas. Last year, who'd they sign day one? Leo DeVries, regarded as one of the top position player prospects in the world, as in they were incredibly active in their pursuit of international talent. And now they wait on Roki. So they went all in on Ethan Salas. They went all in on Leo DeVries. They were formalities. They signed day one. And now they're telling some of their prospects to either wait until 2026 or wait until Roki Sasaki's decision. I just find it interesting because AJ Preller's been so heavily invested in the international market. Before there was a slot money restriction, remember the class we spent $60 million on? The Morejon class was a $60 million class.
Yeah, it didn't really work out.
And it didn't work out. Now there's all these limits. I mean, they can't even spend more than $8 million this time around.
But my question would be, how involved were the Dodgers in on guys like Ethan Salas?
That's a great question.
Well, because they're not a team that has never gone to the international market. They just signed Yamamoto last year. They wooed Ohtani. They got him there.
No, but this is different because each team's working with the same parameters. Like, okay, you want Ethan Salas, LA? Yeah, we do. But we also like Jim Russell. They have to choose because they only have $6 million to work with. Yamamoto's do whatever you want. $300 million. Ohtani, do whatever you want. $700 million. This
right.
is like, you're no better off than the Oakland Athletics in your money. Now, again, he's not going to choose Oakland because, well, Oakland doesn't even have a team. But again, there's a little bit of like an equalizer put out there. Where
I'm going to Oakland. There's no team there anymore, buddy.
10 years, yeah, be hilarious. 10 years ago, you could give this guy $100 million. That's what the Padres did with that Morejon class.
Yeah,
they spent unlimited.
And thankfully now that's different because if it
was
otherwise they'd be
screwed.
Completely screwed here, and he would have gone to the Dodgers
completely.
Already. It would have been already signed, sealed, delivered this morning when the international signing period opened up.
You think we get any news
I don't.
today between now and 6 p.m.? No, like a tweet, a little baby tweet.
6:01.
Gleaning some insight.
Yeah.
If it happens at 6:01, we'll come back on the wrap-up show.
If it does, man, that would be so us.
If it happened at 6:01.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be more us if it was 6:01 on Friday.
That too. Yeah, that too. That'd be bad.
All right, let's hear from Corey Kluber on Ruben Niebla on the other side. Plus Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio. He will join us at 3:30. The latest on Roki from Mike Fehren, who is a great voice on all things Major League Baseball. We have Aztec basketball tickets to give away for Saturday. That's Brian Dutcher bobblehead night for all fans. Hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We're not going anywhere until 6 p.m. You shouldn't either. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by Unbound.org. San Diego State beat Colorado State last night, 75-60. Miles Bird, a career high, 25 points in the win. Next up, they take on UNLV Saturday night, 5 p.m. tip time. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760, and it is officially January 15th, meaning Roki Sasaki can sign with any team he wishes to. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
At the end of the day, what you're saying, and I understand it. Let's say at this point the Padres are like, you know what? Why are we acquiring international slot money? We have no assurances he's coming here. Let's go sign X, Y, and Z. Or let's wait this process out without taking on more money. To me, that's like you get to the 1 yard line and you're like, I'll kick a field goal. Like, you got this. It's the 11th hour. We've talked about this for 44 days.
Scared money don't make money, bro.
Thank you. Like, AJ, like,
trade everything
this is the time,
for international pool money now.
This is the time to buy another phone if you're AJ Preller. He should be more on the phone.
Buy another Toyota Corolla.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about it for 40 days. He talked to Peter Seidler about their infatuation with Roki Sasaki.
Do everything you possibly can.
Yes. And if it doesn't happen, so what? You haven't done anything else.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to not field a team next year.
Okay, so you can't sign JB Wendelhecken or whatever his name is?
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, will join us at 3:30 with the very, very latest on Roki. I do want to remind everyone listening right now, this is the season where you have to be very careful on social media with news. You know, you go to Twitter, and I just saw something, on the For You page, like Blue Jays are out. And then I click on it, and the guy's got 9 followers and lives in the moon. So, right, the Jeff Pastons with 3 S's and 3 F's.
Oh, those are the worst.
Where Jeff spelled Geoff as opposed to Jeff. You just got to be careful.
Or someone has a blue check.
But they bought it.
And they just changed their handle for this troll tweet.
Now, someone put an interesting hypothetical out on social media.
Yeah. Our buddy Alan. Shout out, buddy.
What's up, Alan?
He goes, 1 in a 7 trillion chance the Padres get Roki, but you have to off Jon. Would you do it?
Well, would that then guarantee that he comes here, or it's still a 1 in a 7 billion chance?
It sounds like I'd have to murder
get
you
rid of me.
And get rid of you. That would mean Roki would come here.
But you would be in jail for life and I'd be dead?
I said I would have no hesitation.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate that.
Content's king, bro.
I love the hypotheticals.
Content is king, man.
I love the theoreticals and the hypotheticals.
What would you not do for views is the question. And there's very little.
No, that's not true. Here's the thing.
Kidding.
Here's the thing.
Or am I?
And we have said this since day one. We have covered this story to the best of our ability since the moment we knew that this was a possibility for Sasaki coming over to the U.S., right? We have covered the story like it's the number one story in the sport since October of last year. And guess what? It's the number one story in the sport. Need I remind people, the dude throws 102 miles per hour.
Oh, nice.
He's 23 years of age. His career numbers in Japan are ridiculous. He's an elite pitching prospect. No guarantees in life. We don't know what the future of his arm is. Can't guarantee his health. Look, Ohtani's even had health issues throughout his career. But the point is the point. He's the number one pitching prospect in the world, and the Padres are one of 3 teams left standing for his services.
Yeah, scouts say that his stuff is just electric. Kyle Glazer yesterday, he's the best pitcher in the world that's not in majors. Okay, sign me up.
Right.
We have really put ourselves in a position where, if the team does not land Roki, that's going to be brutal for us.
I mean, but that's what sports are. You go all in until the bitter end. We were all in game 4 of the NLDS. They had a 2-1 lead. You're all in. You're thinking about winning a World Series when you lead the Dodgers 2-1. Guess how it ended? Bitterly. Disappointing. You laughing at what everyone's saying in the chat about killing me?
Yeah, Leah. Jon and Jim in jail. Jon disposed of, but we get Roki. Works for me.
It could work for me.
Well, Yeah, people. I think you see Roki go
By
out there
and
and
large,
throw a complete game. You're like, I don't really miss Jon.
By and large, people would be fine with it. They're like, "This is great. We got Roki. Yeah, I would have preferred they lived through it.
Went to Cy Young. Yeah, it's fine.
Right, it's all good.
It's okay. Kind of dark, but sorry.
Here's the thing. I think it's the number one baseball story of the offseason, but I know it's the number one story in San Diego because the Padres offseason hasn't involved Blake Snell. It hasn't involved Teoscar Hernandez. It hasn't involved a parade.
Number one story after Juan Soto?
This offseason.
Yeah.
In baseball?
Yeah.
No, this is a bigger story than Juan Soto.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Are you serial?
In the sport or here?
In the sport.
This is way bigger. This is way bigger. We're all waiting on bated breath.
No, we're pause.
Save that.
Hold on. This is not bigger than Juan Soto.
To me, it is.
Okay, to you, yeah.
In San Diego, it is.
Not to the sport.
It's big, dude.
No, it's not bigger than Juan Soto. It's the biggest story for the Padres this offseason. How about that?
Is it the biggest story for the Dodgers this offseason?
No.
Yes, it is. Right now, it is.
Right now, yeah.
You think this is bigger than Blake Snell signing? I do. It's bigger than Teoscar Hernandez.
Well, I mean, you are signing Blake Snell, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, and Roki Sasaki is a prospect. So,
dude, we ripped Blake Snell every time he touched the mound, including his Cy Young year.
Correct.
He goes 4 2/3 innings. How many times are we going to say that in LA? His first 3 starts when he combines to throw 11 2/3 innings. Yeah. We're going to mention it every start. But no, your point's valid. He's a prospect. But people love backup quarterbacks. People love the top pick in the draft.
He ain't a backup quarterback.
But they love the top pick in the draft.
They do, yes.
They love Caleb Williams, and then he plays for the Bears and throws 3 picks in a game.
And what's great about this is, yeah, he is the number one prospect in the sport the second he signs with the team. But we're not going to have to wait 5 years to see him. He is going to be in the major league roster day one. And that's what is the coolest part about this, because you don't get that in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number one international prospect today that signed with the Giants, or number 2, excuse me, you're not going to see that kid for like 5 years, maybe.
Or it could be years, yeah.
Like show me the number one pick in the draft last year. You're not going to see him for another 2 years.
Well, specific to baseball, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Caleb Williams gets drafted, boom, he's
right
starting.
Away.
But you're right with baseball. It's not like football and basketball. And you're right, it can be years. Adrian Morejon was a big-time prospect.
We didn't see him for a while.
It took forever.
And he had Tommy John surgery. And
we still haven't seen him fully emerge, or maybe we have.
Do you remember when I think it was Jace Tingler, he was the manager, and they had a post-game press conference after Morejon got injured that game.
Okay.
Or I think it might have been, I don't remember exactly, but I know that Morejon was injured.
Mm-hmm.
And post-game, I think it was Bernie. Shout out Bern. Someone asked a question about Adrian Morejon, and Tingler's like, we'll know more after we see the imaging after this press conference. And then like right after the press conference, it was announced by the team.
Yeah, I remember.
Tommy John.
Yeah,
everyone's
100%.
like, are you kidding me right now?
I mean, they do a lot of that.
They do.
They definitely do a lot of that. Yeah. I'm reading the Jack Harris article, Jim, that's at the LA Times that I couldn't initially read, but someone posted a screenshot of.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting because it does confirm, according to Jack Harris, the Dodgers have had discussions with teams about acquiring more money, right, via trade.
I'm sure the Padres have as well.
But here's what's interesting.
Okay.
He writes, at this stage, however, it's unclear if such a maneuver will ultimately be necessary because his primary motivation isn't believed to be money. Because, again, if it was, we've talked about this 100 times, he could have waited 2 years and gotten a Yamamoto-type deal of $325 million. So, for example, if the Dodgers acquire more money, they can only do it, all teams, in $250,000 increments. So is Roki Sasaki really waiting for the Dodgers to make 3 trades to acquire another $250,000 times 3, $750K, in order to sign there? The answer cannot be yes.
Or he's going to pick the Dodgers. They know that, and they're doing this knowing that they're going to land him. I don't think they know right now. But also, it doesn't hurt.
Do you think anyone knows right now? Do you think Joel Wolf or Roki Sasaki know right now? Do you think the decision's been made? I do believe the decision has been made.
I believe if it's not been made, it will be made within the next 48 hours.
I believe it has been made.
By
It'll be made
Roki
by January 23rd.
By Roki, but I don't know if it's going to be announced in the next 48 hours.
I mean, what is he at? A broken yoke with like a legal pad? Man, the Dodgers is great.
He's like just like doing like little doodles in the paper. Like, they have the Dodgers and Padres and Blue Jays there, and he's just like doodling around the names. And he's like, no, I can't do it yet.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like,
pros and cons, cool hats.
Yeah, exactly. He knows when you apply to college and you're down to Wisconsin and Michigan, like, you figure it out. You just know, in your heart of hearts what you're going to do.
David in the chat says it's 250K increments, meaning 250K, then 500K, then 750K,
Correct. Yeah, $250,000 at a time. If you work with the Reds on a trade, you can get 250. Phillies on a trade, another 250.
Oh, you can't do like 250 one time and then 500 the next time and then 750 the next time?
That wouldn't really make it easy. I don't know.
Again, that's in the weeds. Who gives a crap?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you can listen to some other nerd talk about that.
I mean, in the chat, good point from Objectivity. I don't know if that's your real name. If the decision's been made, why wait? What's the reason? Is it this bonus money? I have no idea. I mean, it's a good point.
How I guess difficult do you think these things are?
Like, yeah, I think they're difficult. Okay. I think that's
like
another good point. That's another good point. That what's the language in this deal?
Yeah.
Like, when you're the lucky one to get the rose, you're then saying, hey, let's write this in. Let's write this in. Let's write this in. Like, this probably isn't the easiest deal to write. This guy's one of one.
When Salas and DeVries signed with the Padres,
right?
Was that a quick process?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
They signed day of.
Day of? Okay. I'm just like thinking out loud, usually the top guys, it's the day of.
Even look today, of the top 5, not including Sasaki, 3 of the other 4 or 4 of the next 5 have already signed.
Well, isn't it because one of them was committed to like one of these 3 teams?
Yeah, I think that's right. But again, the Giants signed the number 1 prospect in the world that isn't Roki today for $3 million.
And 2 or 3 of the Dodgers prospects that they were going to sign have decommitted and they've gone elsewhere.
Yeah.
I have no idea if the Padres even have talked to anybody else. I'm sure they have, but it just seems like Roki or bust,
See, JD's third, who's been in our chat for forever and a loyal viewer. And I do remember this, Jim. He says, he's talking in the chat. He says his agent said 2 weeks ago it wouldn't happen on the 15th, but the 20th. They have a plan. They're following it. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't think he said specifically the 20th.
I think it's a time period, 15th and the 20th.
Right.
Sometime in that period, there will be a decision made.
Right.
And that's why I think it's going to happen Friday. It's right in the middle of it. I don't think it's going to happen on the weekend. I think everyone wants to have a good weekend. I think Roki wants to go into the weekend with the decision made and start next week hitting the ground running wherever he is picked.
All right, let's hear from Corey Kluber. We'll do it on the other side. So we'll hear from Corey Kluber on the other side. Mike Fehren will join us from MLB Network Radio. I need Mike's insight. Like, he needs to calm the masses with us on Jon and Jim.
He's like, he's going to the Dodgers.
We'll hear from Mike Fehren. I have no idea where his mind is right now, but he covers it like we do. He'll join us at 3:30. Do not go anywhere. Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday. Brian Dutcher bobblehead game, San Diego State UNLV. We'll give tickets away. It's Jon and Jim. All right, so let's hear from Corey Kluber because Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, is going to join us coming up at 3:30 with the very latest on Roki. Of course, Kluber was in Cleveland with Niebla as his pitching coach, right?
Correct.
And picked up a Cy Young in the mid-2010s twice, right? 2-time Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, former Padres farmhand.
Wow. So incredibly, 2-time Cy Young Award winner. That speaks for itself. So let's hear from Corey Kluber on working with Ruben Niebla. Take a listen.
I know Ruben Niebla. I was with him in San Diego. I mean, this guy is a pitching guru. So was he kind of just good at translating that kind of thing and just like, hey, Klubs, this is what you need to lock in on, and that's what makes you successful?
I mean, the thing that I really appreciate about Ruben, I appreciate honestly how blunt he was. He didn't try to sugarcoat something for me. You know, if I sucked one day, he told me I sucked. If I pitched well, hey, you did great. This could still be improved. I missed a bullpen one day because of a rainout, and he was like, your fastball's horse right now. Why don't we stop throwing a four-seam? Let's just mess around with a two-seam and see how it works. As a pitching coach, that's a brave thing to do, to say, hey, ditch what you've done for the last 6 years to get you to this point because it's not working right now. Let's try something new.
This is your strategy, Jim. Hey, Roki, you suck. I know we're set up for the rodeo, but I just saw you throw that side session. You look like crap. Can I say that?
You call that a slider?
Yeah.
Yeah, moron. Throw the other pitch.
Is that the strategy they've utilized?
That's a great way to develop a pitcher.
Yeah.
Tell me sucks.
Well, I do like the honesty, truthfully, because that's probably pretty valuable.
I just think hearing from Corey Kluber there saying how much he appreciated like that.
No, that is good.
I don't think he's the only one that feels that way. I feel like a lot of pitchers under Ruben Niebla's wing have felt like that.
Sure.
And Ruben has, I'm sure, different styles that he implements with different pitchers.
Right.
I don't think on day one, if the Padres land Roki, he throws a bullpen, and after the bullpen or during the bullpen, he's like, dude, are you serious? We spent all that time trying to get you. You suck.
Right. I don't think that's the initial strategy.
I don't think it is
with
either.
The 23-year-old Japanese right-hander.
No.
Okay, but I do appreciate when you hear from someone that's won multiple Cy Youngs, and then they give a lot of appreciation to pitching coaches that they've worked with, like Niebla. I mean, think about that. To your point, Niebla with Kluber, Niebla with Snell. And again, some of these development projects he's taken on, he deserves acclaim. He deserves credit. He absolutely deserves the acclaim and the credit and the recognition. And he is one of the better pitching coaches in baseball. And it would be interesting to see what Niebla could mean for Sasaki. Like, he's already one of the world's best pitchers. How could he even get better under the guidance of Ruben Niebla? It would be fascinating to watch if we have that opportunity.
And I think what I've heard a lot, and I listened to a podcast today with Dylan Hernandez.
Yeah.
A guy that's more dialed in than probably anybody when it comes to the Japanese baseball market.
Okay.
Obviously, his ties with Darvish and Yamamoto and Ohtani and his relationship with all them. He mentioned a lot how, like, while Sasaki's stuff is electric and this guy could be amazing, the dude is very raw right now in his development stage. And he is so young. Like, he is not a guy that threw a bunch of innings in Japan and is like ready to go full throttle day one in the bigs. He's going to need time, and he's going to need like true development to get to that point where he is, hopefully, if he lands with the Padres, a top 5 pitcher in the sport. You're going to have to get time with him. You're going to see flashes. And he said that. It's like, you're going to see some flashes where you go, wow. But you also might see some growing pains.
I'm fine with that.
Me too.
I'm on board. But can I just say something? If this is a project or an unfinished product, in 2023, as a 21-year-old, 2 seasons ago, that was in 91 innings, his whip, walks and hits divided by innings, was .747. In 91 innings.
What?
I mean, you don't ever hear of that. Sub 1 walks and hits over innings is absurd. 0.9 more absurd. You get in the 0.7s and you're talking about video game stuff. That's a 91 innings as a 21-year-old in the Nippon Professional Baseball League, the second best league in the world.
Well,
untouchable.
I was going to say, show me the competition.
No.
He's not facing the Dodgers lineup every day.
He's not, but there are comps for guys that succeed there, that succeed here.
Well,
and now there's a lot of comps of that happening.
You've seen a lot of pitchers from Japan put up some gaudy numbers over there and come here and be average.
Yeah, but you've also seen a lot of pitchers come over, Yamamoto, Ohtani,
Mm-hmm.
be really, really effective.
Yeah, the numbers are, don't get me wrong, love seeing those numbers. Love hearing
Love
that.
it.
I think his stuff to me is more important than his numbers.
Yeah, I know, but the numbers back up the stuff. You don't fall into a .747 whip.
Yeah, but also, if you took all those numbers away, take all of them away.
Right.
I don't know what they are.
Well, that's scouting.
And all you tell me is this guy got 100+ mile-hour fastball. He has 2 other plus breaking pitches.
I'm on board with that too.
Sign me up.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the scouting community would say just fall in love with who he is as a pitcher.
Yeah.
And then I would say, well, also the proof is somewhat in the pudding. The Nippon Professional Baseball League is a high caliber of a league. He's got a 2 career ERA as a starter in 400 innings. Like, yeah, if he's unfinished, awesome. If he's going to be better than that, great. Mm-hmm. Like if his ceiling is better than that in the major leagues, wow.
And I know this is like a conversation that has to. Don't even talk about this, Jim, until they actually sign the guy, right? Or even throws a pitch. Like, why are you worrying about this? Right. But, like, what if he does come in here, hypothetical, comes in, balls out his first year, is amazing, Paul Skeens 2.0.
Right.
You know what the first thing everyone's going to be thinking of?
Extend him.
How are they going to be able to extend this guy in 5 years?
Yeah, but also what happens if his first 2 starts, he's got a 5.91 and we're like, this guy's kind of over him.
5 for 50?
Yeah, like
5 for 50 extension?
It's gonna be April 4th, and we're gonna be like, can you get anything for this guy? Can you trade him? He's had 2 very average starts.
Oh, you could trade him this year. I think
it takes a year or something.
I think it's like 3 years before you can even attempt to try to
just making up the rules with the international.
I love doing it
because nobody knows the rules. Nobody does. That's what makes it so fun.
I don't know.
We know this. He's going to sign with either the Padres, Dodgers, or Blue Jays, and it's going to be a relatively small deal because of the international bonus money. He's going to get like $6, $7, $8 million is what he's going to get for 6 years. It's a steal.
You're going to be shocked if he signs with the Blue Jays, right? Like, come on, Blue Jays, seriously.
I mean,
come on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's the thing is, my preference in order has to be San Diego, Toronto, LA, because he becomes irrelevant the second he goes to Toronto.
Yeah,
to us, but it's better than the worst possible scenario of LA, which is still the most likely scenario.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to Toronto.
I don't think so either.
Hassan said, man, people weren't saying Angels until it was Angels with Ohtani.
I know.
They're a finalist. Why are they a finalist? Because they're in Canada?
There's something there.
Because there's an exchange rate?
There's something there why they're a finalist. You're right. Exchange rate.
He could make more money in Canada because of the Canadian dollar.
Maybe he's trying to like get as far away as possible from the Japanese media, because it would be really hard to cover him in Toronto, deploying however many, media members from Japan as they will for Sasaki, because they got to go through customs all the time and the travel. Like it'd be a lot.
It'd be brutal. Yeah. By the way, Canadian dollar is 0.7 US dollars.
Oh, it must be nice.
He gets more money is my point. He gets more Canadian dollars if he signs there. All right, Mike Fehren, he'll join us next. MLB Network Radio, the latest on Sasaki next.
This update is brought to you by Unbound.org. San Diego State beat Colorado State last night, 75-60. Miles Byrd had a career night, scoring 25 points in the win. Next up, they take on UNLV Saturday night, 5 p.m. tip time. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, so Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, back with us on Jon and Jim. Mike, I need to be honest with you. We have spent essentially 100 consecutive days on Jon and Jim. Whenever the postseason ended for the Padres, the 24 consecutive scoreless innings, we turned our attention to Sasaki. And we haven't taken our attention off them, and now the Padres are one of 3 teams standing, and we know this is going to get done within the next 7 or 8 days. What's the latest here? What are you hearing as we near finality with Sasaki? And thanks for hopping on as always.
Yeah, my pleasure. First of all, I mean, I don't know. Like it was just at the Corbin Burns press conference this afternoon here in Phoenix, and was talking to people about Sasaki too. And the truth of the matter is that nobody knows what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. The Padres sound very confident from what I understand. I know Bob Nightingale tweeted that yesterday, and Bob and I were talking a little bit about it at the presser, just in that there's a confidence that the Padres have that he's going to be with them. But I believe the Dodgers have the same confidence as well. And I don't think, listen, you're not coming from Japan and flying all the way to Toronto to, throw at Rogers Center and tour the city without making it a serious consideration, So I wish I had a good answer for you or some real insight, but there just isn't any. And, we're just going to be waiting from today until, the 23rd. Sasaki could make his decision at any time, and my guess is it'll kind of come out of the blue in the same way that Ohtani's did. And if you remember when Ohtani signed with the Angels, that literally knocked Billy Epler, their GM, out of his chair. He was sitting in his chair, he got the phone call, and he tilted back and fell out of it. He was so surprised. So I have a feeling that metaphorically, probably as opposed to literally, whoever ends up, Sasaki ends up choosing, that the executives will have the same feel.
Okay, so let's go to hypotheticals, because we love hypotheticals here. He lands with the Padres. How much better does this make the Padres in the now and the future, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think in the future it makes them, listen, it answers a lot of questions, right? Because it gives them a bona fide starter. I do think in the short term it makes them better than what they are now. They will have a better roster. But I think the other problem to keep in mind with it is that he didn't throw all that many innings last year because of injury. And, the Sasaki that I saw in the WBC wasn't a finished product. There's 2 years age difference between him and Yamamoto. And the polish was significantly different in that event from Yamamoto than it was from Sasaki. Now, granted, that's 2 years ago now. So, he has likely improved in that regard. But I am skeptical it's going to have a huge impact for all of this season. I think he will have impactful moments because his stuff is good enough that that'll be the case. But I would not be surprised that he's a lot like most other 23-year-old starters who have excelled in the minors, but who have not faced big league hitters consistently, that there are going to be some moments that aren't great. I don't think this is Paul Skeens coming in and dominating the league. I think he's a guy that will have dominant stuff and have dominant stretches, but I would not be surprised if that it's more, he follows more of the path of like a traditional player when they come to the big leagues, as opposed to just being an ascendant star from the moment that he toes the rubber.
Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, back with us here. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. This has been well documented and written about here. This ownership dispute, lawsuit, infighting, whatever you want to call it. Do you think this is at all impactful when it comes to Roki or not?
I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know that he has what his relationship is like with ownership in Japan. I don't know that he's trying to build relationships with the owners in the U.S. the same way. I mean, listen, like he could theoretically do that with the Dodgers owners, right? Because Mark Walter, who's their the head of their ownership group, is pretty prominent and is around, right? Even though I think he lives full time in Chicago, or at least part of the time in Chicago. There's not really anybody to pal up to in Toronto because they're owned by Rogers Communication, which is one of the biggest communication companies in the world. Mm-hmm. So I'm skeptical. I don't think it helps, but I'm skeptical that it's going to have a huge impact on what his decision is. Like, the reason if he chooses the Dodgers or the Blue Jays, I don't think it's going to be because of the Padres ownership situation. I think it's, like if it's the Dodgers, it's going to be because they have a long history now of developing young pitchers who are pretty good, albeit some with injury history. And if he chooses Toronto, it's because they have gotten more out of pitchers at the big league level than when those guys arrived. So I think it probably has a much more practical application on him being great than it does on him trying to cozy up to ownership. This isn't the Juan Soto, Peter Seidler relationships that we're looking at.
Yeah. And as far as the lawsuit and the infighting between the Seidler brothers and the widow of Peter, how much do you think that could affect just, future off seasons go as far as spending and potentially down the line, this may turn into, a selling of the team. Like, how big of a deal do you, in your opinion, think this is?
Well, I think for the ownership, it has the potential to be a pretty big deal. I think the odds are overwhelming. Just and listen, I've had some conversations with people around it. I don't want to make it sound like I have a ton of information, because I don't, but it does sound like there is a good chance that people were told what they wanted to hear at some point, but that that most likely the scenario is that the Seidler brothers will have control of the team if this goes to court. And I'm not I would not think that this is going to go to court, because the last thing that any company wants in a lawsuit like this is to have discovery and have, even if it's relatively minor dirty laundry, there's almost always an email that has something that can be inflammatory in it, even if it's not intended that way. So I would be shocked if that ended up happening. I do think a real potential outcome is a sale. And I think it's a question of, whether or not they get to that point, or if there's something that can be negotiated that helps to get everybody onto the same page. I mean, Seidler was kind of frozen out by the brothers late in the season last year, and it's not entirely clear to me why that happened. But I'm also not sure that listen, she's an attorney, right? And so she has an idea of what legal recourse can bring. There are plenty of other attorneys that are working with the Seidler brothers as well. So I don't know where this goes. It doesn't look great. And generally, infighting with owners ends up either with one person or one side taking full control and forcing the other out, or with a sale. I mean, the last time I really feel like we saw an infighting like this, where, with the exception of the Angelos lawsuit, which was, if the kind of what was going on with Baltimore ownership was more just a way for Lou Angelos to make sure that he had control of the law firm, it seemed like. But you have to go back to like the Wilpons and Doubledays with the Mets. And when Nelson Doubleday's family was kind of forced out of that ownership and the Wilpons took control, there wasn't a lawsuit, but it was kind of a takeover. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. I am very curious to see where it goes. But there are a lot of different paths that I think lead to, potential change in who the point person is for the Padres, at the very least, if not a full out sale. And again, this is reading tea leaves. I don't have any real inside information. It's just kind of watching the history of these events.
Yeah, something to certainly keep an eye on for Padres fans moving forward. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, with us right now on Jon and Jim. Switching gears from Roki to other needs for the Padres. Yeah. I mean, Jurickson Profar has played his best baseball here. We know he's a free agent. We know the Padres are maybe up against it already with the CBT. What's the market look like for Jurickson? What do you think is most likely?
Great question. It doesn't seem like there's any market for anybody right now, right?
Yeah.
Like the number of free agents that are out there. It's like I feel the Padres keep getting lumped into this group of teams that haven't spent this winter, right? And like there's 5 teams that haven't spent a single dollar. Well, there's like 7 billion free agents still.
Right.
So like it's not a surprise that some of these teams haven't spent. I think Profar is obviously a very good fit. I would, if I am the Padres, I would be trying to negotiate from a standpoint of, hey, it's great that you performed well in a Padres uniform, but you haven't exactly had consistent performance from year to year. And I would be trying to use that. I don't know exactly how much money they have. I did read in the San Diego Union Tribune that the payroll was expected to go up from last year, but a lot of that could be taken up by internal raises, right? So, listen, they need an outfielder. They were in the same position in spring training last year where they needed 2, and they got Profar for 1 year, $1 million. So, and got an incredible season out of him. Now, I don't know that they're going to necessarily get somebody for $1 million, but there are other players out there that are potentially good fits. I'm a big Austin Hayes fan. I know it did not go well for him in Philly last year, but that was because he was dealing with a kidney ailment, which sounds like it is healed. He also basically his entire struggle in Baltimore uniform was with that giant left field that they had and against right-handed pitching at home. That was really all that he struggled. He's a pretty good player. He's still out there. Harrison Bader is a very good defender. You could even see him go back down a road of like David Peralta and create a platoon out there. I mean, I think left field, shortstop, and probably the rotation are 3 spots that they could still look at. And at the very least, an outfielder and somebody who can join the rotation makes sense. And that's why Sasaki is so important for them, because it is definitely the cheapest way to add a quality arm, because he would be making the league minimum this year. And that would be pretty remarkable to have that kind of talent, and to have him as part of this rotation going forward with both Cease and King heading to free agency.
And final one from me, before the lawsuit and Roki week, the big topic around here was like the Dylan Cease, I guess, uncertainty and the possibility of them trading Dylan Cease. If that were to happen, what do you think he could get in return?
I mean, I think it depends on where he would end up going. There were a lot of rumors about them talking to Baltimore, but Baltimore seems to have a fairly full rotation at this point. I mean, I think it'll only make sense if you can fill multiple holes for multiple years, right? Yeah. So, a Cease trade would be similar to what Corbin Burns was last year, which was Milwaukee did pretty well in that trade. They ended up with an everyday left side of the infielder and a left-hander to dream on, plus a draft pick, right? And so that was pretty good. And DL Hall has had some injury issues, but he's a premium left-hander, and I wouldn't be surprised if he and Trevor McGill are finishing games for the Brewers this year. And Ortiz, a little bit passive as a hitter, but a very good defender. He'll probably play shortstop for them. So Cease isn't quite what Burns was a year ago, but he's still pretty good. So something similar to that probably makes sense. You get a position player and a pitcher who might be a starter or might be a reliever, would make sense. Or 2 arms and maybe, somebody lower level, or a draft pick, which certainly they would love to be able to have more draft capital. I think this is an AJ Preller kind of draft because there's a ton of really good prep bats. So I think those are potential outcomes if they were to go down that road. I also wonder if they would consider it with Michael King as opposed to Cease, because King is a free agent after this year too. Mm-hmm. And, I think they're probably, listen, King was amazing last year, right? Mm-hmm. That was a huge ramp up in innings. And, I'd be worried about that a little bit if I were a Warrior. And so, and those front offices are. So I think they have a couple of potential arms that they could move, but it doesn't mean that they're going to. And I don't necessarily think that they have to. I mean, if you add Sasaki to the mix, all of a sudden you're looking at him as their 4th starter, right?
Yeah.
He's King, Darvish, Sasaki, and then Matt Waldron, or Randy Vasquez or Johnny Brito. There's a lot of options for them there. And they've talked about stretching out Morejon, right? So it's pretty good. And maybe they can do some of that and trade, one of those starters to be able to fill a couple other holes. But I mean, at this point, I think everything is pretty much on hold until they figure out exactly, where Sasaki is going to play.
Mike, you're the best. Awesome insight for Padres fans. Everyone is just clamoring for information and news.
Refresh.
I can't do anything this weekend. Like, it's a long weekend. If he doesn't, I just got to stay by my phone. Yeah. But we'll have an answer at some point here soon. Always appreciate.
We know that by January 23rd, we are going to have an answer on this. It's a lot different than like watching out the Alex Bregman sweepstakes.
True.
We have no idea where it's going to end, right? We know what the end date is. It could happen anytime before that, but we know that it won't happen any later than the 23rd.
I need it now.
Mike.
Yeah, I think we all do.
We do.
It's so boring as 2 weeks. So
Yep. We appreciate it, Mike. Thank you as always.
Yep. Take care.
All right. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio. We'll react on the other side. The wrap at 4 p.m. Aztec basketball tickets to give away. It's Jon and Jim. Right back with you on Jon and Jim. We do remind you, AM radio keeps one voice successful time need your help. Text AM 52886 AM radio and cars. AM radio and cars. Standard message from David. Mike Ferris, the absolute best. Tells it like it is. And he had said something that we've repeatedly said, that don't believe all of the speculation. He said, nobody knows the decision that Roki Sasaki is going to make. Not Padres fans, not Dodger fans, not insiders locally. It's a close circle. And we're going to know between now and January 23rd. But if you're being told it's a guarantee that it's LA or San Diego or Toronto, don't believe it until you hear it from the source himself or Jeff Passan.
Well, I mean, Travis
Rogers
up in LA at 710. Certainty.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said, I'm fairly certain. Do we have that audio in the rundown? Did I put that there? Probably not.
Nice job.
Sorry. He's like, yeah, I'm fairly certain Roki will be with the Dodgers. Like, just that's the most confident thing ever.
Like, have you met with him? Have you spoken to him?
He's like, yeah, he's going to the Dodgers. Like, you don't know anything.
Here's the quote. He's coming to the Dodgers. I'm virtually certain it's going to happen. Travis Rogers today on ESPN LA, 710.
Okay.
I mean, listen, they may look really smart.
You're an idiot and you don't know baseball.
Yeah, you could say, and a lot of people are doing this, Sasaki to the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's easy to say.
And then once he goes to the Dodgers, like, I was right. That's how things work nowadays. People just put stuff out there and they get lucked into being right.
Yep.
Like a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Right.
People on social media are perceived and they can go out and say, oh, I was right. When in reality, you don't know jack, you know what.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with this guy. Like, you don't know anything, bro.
Right. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. And that's why when I hear, I mean, the great insight that Mike Fehren just provided is on like the outfield market. He's like, hey, listen, I think Profar makes sense. But it's like, if that doesn't happen, Austin Hayes, who spent a lot of time in Baltimore, had some good years. He mentioned Harrison Bader as a defensive guy first. Like, he threw out some names and possibilities. And he, like a lot of people, likes the Padres rotation. And I mean, you have to love the Padres rotation if this somehow comes to fruition. I mean, if they get Sasaki, how could you not love the Padres rotation starting the year? I mean, that's a really good rotation.
I would love it.
Yeah, that's like,
and I'd be like, why can't Joe be healthy?
Then you'd really love it.
I also do think not only are we in the end game for Roki Sasaki, but we are, I think, on the verge of multiple moves by AJ Preller.
Yeah, definitely. And he said how many free agents are still out there. It's not just the Padres that have been quiet. He's like, there's so many free agents out there.
Yeah, because I don't think the Blue Jays will be like heavily involved. They might in like a Pete Alonso or Alex Bregman. They need to spend.
Try because all they want to do is spend.
They want to spend a lot of
money. They're like
money.
San Francisco and
maybe they could, but yeah, you still got Bregman out there. You still got Pete Alonso, Jack Flaherty, Santander.
The problem is the Padres aren't tied to any of those.
Yeah, players. And I don't think there's like a domino where, whoa, and Roki picks, then you're going to start seeing all those players go off the board. I think with the Padres, there's a domino. Once Roki decides, then you will see their offseason plan go into action.
No, I think there'll be a lot of movement, though, because spring training starts in weeks. Like, I actually think after Roki, across the sport, there'll be a real movement.
Like, do something?
It feels like the whole sport is frozen right now, doesn't it? What has happened in January? Teoscar was January or not?
I think he was.
Okay, so that's significant. But I'm just saying in general, it doesn't feel like there's been a ton over the last 7-10 days.
Yeah.
With spring training approaching.
What?
With spring training approaching, it doesn't feel like there's been a lot that has happened.
No, there's not. And there's not been a lot with the Padres.
No, there's been nothing.
And by not a lot, I mean you're right,
nothing.
Zero.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Are you refreshing right now?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
Because I do think I'm going to bank on his decision will be announced on his Instagram page first.
So are you now you're following him though?
I am. Of course I am.
But we don't have notifications on Instagram, or do we? I don't know.
There you go. Boom.
Do you know how to do that? While you do that, by the way,
I don't know how to do that.
By the way, he's almost at 1 million followers, Roki, which is more than Jon and Jim. If you haven't followed us, would you guys mind following us right now? Everyone watching and listening and on the app, can you follow us on Twitter? Jon and Jim, or Instagram, Jon and Jim, JON.
Yes, we're whoring ourselves out for
no, but we're gonna like retweet Roki. So once this happens, you'll hear it from us as well. At Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. Open the apps. You're sitting around if you're not driving. Twitter or Instagram at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. So we wait, and I just love talking to Mike Fehren. Truthfully, I wish Mike Fehren was like a weekly guest. Can you make that happen, Jim, in your leadership role with this company? Your management role?
Yeah, let me just get it done. Okay.
Okay, if we could have Mike Fehren weekly, would you want that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I want Kevin weekly. I want Fehren weekly. I want Dennis weekly.
Yeah.
And then football season comes around. I want Will weekly. I want Cynthia weekly. Just give me all the
Love the first name basis with everyone.
Give me all the weeklies.
Is there someone you would want us to talk with weekly? Baseball fans, 70470 started with team. 70470 started with team. All right, we'll kick off hour number 3 of Jon and Jim with the wrap. We do have Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday against UNLV to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. This is going to be an awesome game. Brian Dutcher, bobblehead night. 5 o'clock start is terrific. So the 5 p.m. start Saturday.
Can you give me a bobblehead?
It's for all fans. So, and since you haven't been there since the Clinton administration, you're not going to be included.
So can you get,
I'll see what I can do. What do you want? I can try to get bobbleheads for everyone here, but what about the fans?
You're Mr. San Diego State.
Yeah, I don't make the bobbleheads.
I think they're going to have some extra bobbleheads. Hey, JD, please, can
text JD.
This show please have a bobblehead?
You have a group chat. Put it in the group chat right now. Okay. JD, I'm not going to go because I'm going to be watching like Niners highlights of 2021, but I'd like to get a bobblehead.
I'm not going to be in town. So I have a good excuse.
That is a good excuse. All right. The wrap on the other side, Aztec basketball tickets to give away. We're here until 6 p.m. If anything happens, you'll hear it here first on Jon and Jim.
This update is brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State beat Colorado State last night, 75-60. Miles Bird, a career night, scoring 25 points in the win. Next up, they take on UNLV Saturday night, 5 p.m. tip time. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. And earlier this afternoon, it was announced the Sunday night baseball schedule for the upcoming season. Padres have 3 games on Sunday night, March 30th against the Atlanta Braves, April 20th against the Houston Astros, and July 6th against the Texas Rangers. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
At the end of the day, what you're saying, and I understand it. Let's say at this point the Padres are like, you know what? Why are we acquiring international slot money? We have no assurances he's coming here. Let's go sign X, Y, and Z. Or let's wait this process out without taking on more money. To me, that's like you get to the 1-yard line and you're like, I'll kick a field goal. Like, you got this. It's the 11th hour. We've talked about this for 44 days.
Scared money don't make money, bro.
Thank you. Like, AJ, like,
trade everything
this is the time,
for international pool money now.
This is the time to buy another phone if you're AJ Preller. He should be more on the phone.
Buy another Toyota Corolla.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about it for 40 days. He talked to Peter Seidler about their infatuation with Roki Sasaki.
Do everything you possibly can.
Yes. And if it doesn't happen, so what? You haven't done anything else.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to not field a team next year.
Okay, so you can't sign JB Wendelhecken or whatever his name is.
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim, hour 3 of Roki Watch. He will make a decision between now and 1 week from tomorrow, the 23rd of January. If you missed our conversation with Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, we'll share that with you again in the 5 o'clock hour. This hour, we have Aztec basketball tickets for Saturday, the Brian Dutcher bobblehead game that Jim doesn't want to go to. He just wants the bobblehead.
I can't go to it anyway. I'm going to be gone.
We're going to give away tickets, and you're going to be guaranteed a bobblehead if you go, because all fans in attendance are going to walk away with a Brian Dutcher bobblehead. We've seen it, by the way. He's wearing Nike sneakers.
Yes.
All black outfit.
He's wearing Jordans.
I think so.
I think they were, yes.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the main topic on tomorrow night's Brian Dutcher Coaches Show?
That's a great point.
Has he?
It should be.
He's seen the bobblehead. I mean, what was his reaction when he first saw the bobblehead? Like, oh, that looks just like me, or like, oh, what the hell is that?
I want to spend the whole hour just talking about the bobblehead.
Did he have any input on the bobblehead?
Had to. Did he have like final approval? Did he have to sign off
like
on
the
it?
pose or whatever?
Like, did they give him options and he had to choose?
Would you prefer it to be a moving bobblehead?
Do you like the pose that you're in?
Right.
Would you prefer a different pose? Or are you okay with that?
We should do a Jon and Jim bobblehead for all fans.
I would love that. I have a lot of bobbleheads. Shout out.
Yeah, but you don't have any bobbleheads of us.
That'd be kind of narcissistic, wouldn't it?
I would love that.
He just had bobbleheads of himself.
Rich McGuire hooks me up all the time with all the bobbleheads down at Petco Park.
Shout out Rich McGuire real quick, because I'm going to show it on the stream. So Rich McGuire is a diehard Aztec and Padre fan, and he's got a Ted Leitner jersey.
Okay.
Padres jersey, which is pretty cool. I think it says 22 for the year he was inducted into the Padres Hall of Fame.
Okay, cool.
And it says Leitner on the back, and he wears it. Obviously, Ted's an institution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still calling Aztec basketball. And he asked me to, when I sit next to Ted, would he be willing to sign it? I said, give me the jersey.
There we go.
I'll get it signed. So, and shout out to Ted for doing this. So Ted signed this last night for Rich McGuire. And I'm going to give this to Rich Saturday. So Rich is going to walk away with a Dutch bobblehead and a signed Ted Leitner Padres jersey.
Rich, just make the check out to Ted Leitner with 1D.
That's right. With one what?
With 1D. It's a joke.
Okay. I like it. All right. So coming up later this hour, your chance to win those Aztec tickets. If you missed Mike Fehren from MLB Network Radio, we'll play that back for you coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
How good is Miles Bird?
He's good. Next question.
Very. Well, hold on. Last night, career high 25, career high 7 steals, most steals ever by an Aztec in the Mountain West Conference era since 1999. A ferocious slam in transition. He had a block that was beautiful. The guy does everything well. and he's only a redshirt sophomore. He hasn't played a ton of college games. I mean, he's up now in that 50 range of college games, but when he plays the way he's played a lot this year, you got a great chance of winning. He's the best player on the floor. He was with another NBA prospect last night for Colorado State, Nick Clifford, and he outplayed him last night, and it's just been really fun to watch his development.
I hope, and this is just like me being very selfish here, that he returns next year.
Right.
Because he's only getting better. I mean, if the jump he made from last year to this year is this significant, just imagine the jump he can make from this year to next year if he stays at the college level and he stays here at San Diego State, hopefully. Because he's going pro at some point. He has the size, the length. He has improved his three-pointers. He can play really good defense. Like, he has an NBA build. So now the question is, like, one, you want him to continue to get better this season, and he's the best player on the team. And when Miles Bird plays like that, this team is going to be very hard to beat. But for future conversations, right, you are hoping, like, we want you to go to the NBA, but, like, just can you wait, like, one more year?
Just not yet.
40%
40% from three now for the season for a 6'7" wing in Miles Bird, who's a brilliant defender. And, again, his ability to get into passing lanes, 7 steals is ridiculous. I mean, 7 steals is ridiculous.
And they were like easy steals at points in the game.
Just he's so long.
Yeah.
He gets in the way of everything.
Yeah.
You know, he really, it's amazing.
And watching him play now, I can't help but go back and be like, man, what if Miles was healthy when they played Gonzaga?
Good point.
Now, I don't know if they win that game, but
that's a good point.
He was definitely not healthy for that game. He scored 0 points.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, he's very good.
It is what it is.
Next question.
Will Roki Sasaki make a decision by Friday?
Which Friday?
This Friday.
A Friday? Because the 23rd next week is a Thursday?
Correct. A week from tomorrow.
I'm going on a hunch that I think he's going to make a decision by this Friday.
I'll agree with you. I'm going to agree with you on this. I don't know, but I don't know if he'll make the decision. I just feel like we get reporting on it by Friday. I don't know if we hear it from Roki himself. I just expect reporting on this by Friday. Like, I can't wait much longer.
I can't either.
I need some sleep. Next question.
Which road team has the best chance to win this weekend in the NFL playoffs?
That, to me, is the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
This matchup is worthy of an AFC title game matchup, except it's in the divisional round. I think the Ravens have a good shot at this to beat the Bills and kind of have some revenge on the Chiefs from last year, losing at home when they were the favorites and looking awful. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I'm going to go with the Rams. From Vegas's perspective, it's clearly the Ravens. I think they're a 1-point favorite. And the Rams are a 6-point underdog. I just think the Rams are playing really well. And everyone liked what they saw against the Vikings the other night. And Philadelphia's been really good, but so have the Rams. And it's hard to bet against Matt Stafford. So I think it's going to be a really good game in Philadelphia. I don't think a lot of people would be surprised if the Rams won. So I'm going to go with the Rams with what would be, an upset on the road against Philadelphia.
Well, then I would not have a happy wife if that were to happen.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't. But
happy wife, happy life.
So John's not invited to watch the game this weekend?
No. I could come over and watch with you guys.
We watched at Pretzels and Pints this past weekend.
Yeah, it was packed. I mean, because it was the Eagles bar.
Yeah, I know, but I think Pretzels and Pints add a couple more TVs. Don't be afraid.
Oh, really? You have some suggestions for management?
I'm just saying, add a couple more TVs, especially for an Eagles playoff game.
Okay. Well, you just bought a new TV. Bring it over.
Okay.
Give him your old one.
That's right. True, yeah. Next question.
Are you guys disappointed the Padres don't play the Dodgers at all this year on Sunday Night Baseball?
A little, yeah.
Is it all Cubs and Cardinals and
Well, they haven't
Yankees?
announced all games.
Oh, okay.
Not all games. You
They've
can
only
get
announced
flexed
half.
in there. And I think August they play the Dodgers on back-to-back weekends, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Exciting.
But initially, I'm just looking at their schedule here, John. And no, we're not going to break down every game in April like other shows might. Where is the first matchup against the Dodgers?
It's a while. It's not in April. Is it in May? Is it in
August?
June? No,
It's in August.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they play.
No, it's not.
They play a 3-game series in LA. They played the following week in a 3-game series here at Petco.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, I am wrong.
I'm just deciding. There's no way.
Oh, here we go. 4-game series, June, the middle of June.
First series between the two teams is in June? Yeah.
Oh, it's awful.
The first series between the teams is at Dodger Stadium, June 16th through the 19th.
That's so dumb.
That's late.
Hey, schedule makers, realize that you need to, I don't know, put the best teams out there. It's the best rivalry in baseball right now.
Okay.
It's really stupid.
Wait, are we sure that's right?
So 6, 10. Is it?
There's 4 series. I don't know if it's right. Probably people are putting in the chat and we're idiots.
I don't see anything in April.
Oh, yeah. June, there's 3 here, 4 there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Back-to-back weeks. So the only opportunities for Sunday Night Baseball would be in August 17th and August 24th.
Okay.
I think one of those are going to be flexed if both these teams are good.
I'm not overly concerned. Sunday Night Baseball has lost some of its appeal over the years. I'm good to watch the Padres Dodgers at 110 or 410 on Padres.tv or on Sunday Night Baseball. I don't have to have it on Sunday Night Baseball where they do a whole soliloquy on the Dodgers World Series.
What happens first? We find out where Roki's going to go, or the Padres figure out a TV deal.
They haven't figured out.
No, they don't.
Padres.tv.
That's not it.
You're not. Did you sent me an article yesterday? The Rangers have agreed to a deal with Victory.tv.
At least it's a streaming platform that is going to pay them money.
Okay, that's different than Major League Baseball.
Yeah, they're not making any money from Major League Baseball. Now they Major League Baseball recouped them for their losses.
That was 2 years ago. I don't think they recouped everything last year.
But you're not making constant revenue off of MLB.tv.
Not at $20 a month.
No,
I wouldn't think. Close. I mean, that's not paying for the Toddy deal.
Yeah. So you have the Rangers, and I think I saw somewhere the Reds also struck a streaming deal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yet the Padres can't strike a streaming deal.
But they kind of have a streaming deal.
But it's not
I see what you're
making
saying.
them money.
Yeah. Do they need money? I think they do. All right. We're going to get back to it on the other side. Again, the latest with Roki. We have Aztec basketball tickets to give away as well. We'll do that later this hour for Saturday at Viejas Arena. We're here until 6 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. All right, if you missed our conversation with Mike Fehren, we'll play that for you in the 5 o'clock hour. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio. Really good insight, not just on Roki, but also on Padres' possible moves once we get through this saga involving Roki Sasaki. We do those Aztec basketball teams. We'll do that coming up later this hour. San Diego State faced their first must-win of the year last night, because it was a must-win in Mexico. And yeah, it's a must-win when you take out a team lower. This was one of those games where you're playing a good team and you just can't lose it to stay in that large conversation. I don't think they could have really afforded it. We both said yesterday, we thought it was a must win. And in that kind of pressure-packed environment, against a good enough team, they had the business. They won by 15 points. They were favored by 7 or 7.5. They won by 15. Overall, really good night for San Diego State at the end.
Prove like he's in contention for Mountain West Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, he definitely is. That's a good point. Yeah.
Going into the game, I think he was averaging just under 14 points a game. Closer to 15 points per game. Like you said, he's shooting what 40%. He was 5-9 last night. He did make one from the corner, which is all for the top of the key, and did a little Michael Jordan shrug, which I thought was great. And some of his on defense, it's just can't get that ball past his arm. His leg is just gotta be a dream for Dutch as far as defense goes to have that guy on their team with that length and size. But yeah, other than that, good win, great bounce back win. Losing to Utah State and then coming back and winning on the road against Boise. Losing to New Mexico, and kind of getting almost blown out. Not almost, they didn't get blown out there by double digits. Coming back, handling the business against Colorado State. Now let's get on the streak. Like you got UNLV this Saturday at home, which is nice. And then next week I believe Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force on the road, then Nevada on the road.
Yeah. So can you put a little streak together here of some wins in the Mountain West Conference, and in a part of your schedule where it's not like Utah State, Boise, on the road, New Mexico, on the road here, on the road there. So hopefully you can string together some wins.
You know, it's a funny sport because, yeah, the Aztecs, to your point, were beaten soundly by New Mexico. What did New Mexico do last night?
Oof.
They lost at San Jose State. That's what they did.
Good.
And that's the type of thing that could really hurt your resume all the way until Selection Sunday and take you off the bubble and keep you out of. It's hard to avoid that. You play the full round robin. You're playing a league schedule. It's always the team based on success over the years. Again, last night was a really good night for the Aztecs. They need the exact same result Saturday. They need to find a way to beat UNLV, hopefully soundly, and get some momentum in the Mountain West Conference. So there's that, obviously. From last night, Saturday, we've got the giveaways coming up. Tickets to San Diego State and UNLV. Again, covering Roki. It's funny. I just drove by today, Snapdragon Stadium. We're thinking, well, yeah, Aztec football season. We're a month out now from San Diego FC. We're a month out from what's going to be. What did you say earlier to me off air that there's going to be a double header day once we get into baseball season where you're going to have San Diego FC playing at night and you're going to have the Padres playing on Sunday Night Baseball same day, but earlier in the day in March?
March 29th, which is, I believe, the fourth game of the season for the Padres.
Okay.
I think.
Third. It's a Saturday night.
February.
They start the 27th.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Saturday afternoon, which I'm sure will be like a Fox game, maybe, because they got Sunday Night Baseball on Sunday.
So you're saying Padres play Saturday afternoon?
Padres play Saturday at 4:15. SDFC plays at Snapdragon at 7:30 against LAFC.
How about that?
That's
a sports
nice little double dip for you.
And you can hit both. They get a 4:15 start means you get out of there even by 7. I mean, you could kind of hit both.
Oh, you absolutely could.
Right? Yeah.
2-hour game, 2.5 hours.
Yeah, get out of there at 6:30. Get over to Snapdragon at 7:30.
You could even, I think, take the trolley, right?
You could do that
because it goes from downtown to
Mission Valley.
Mission Valley. Yeah, that'd be a great little double dip there.
I think San Diego FC, to its credit, is doing a really good job with their content right now. posting like training videos and out on this Saquon land, their brand new training.
But are they going to be good?
Yeah, that I have no idea. I mean, honestly, there have been expansion teams in MLS that have been amazing, and there have been other teams that haven't been good their first year. It feels as if they're committed to being good. Is that fair to say? Like,
well, yeah, of course, every team's
no, but
not
I
every
mean,
team, but.
no, it just feels like because even like the Chucky Lozano, like that's a serious commitment. Not every team has a player of his caliber on it.
It's a serious commitment,
right?
They're also looking ahead to the future with the Right to Dream Academy. Like that's like a huge thing with this club.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm just more than like what we're gonna watch on the field. I'm more interested in seeing like the atmosphere that they will create.
Me too.
Because the atmosphere that a club creates in soccer is like everything.
Yeah, but did you see the day they reported to training camp? All the supporter groups were out there with drums and
I know.
I mean, they're at Saquon a month and a half before the first ever game, chanting and singing and drumming.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be well supported. I'd be shocked if they weren't.
Yeah, you have the diehards. You have like the 1,000 diehard like supporters.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know. I don't know how
many. You're
many.
saying to fill 30,000 or whatever.
But like, can you get 30,000 there every night? Like, can you get 35K on the big nights?
Yeah, good question.
Can you make sure that thing doesn't dip under 25?
Right.
So, yeah, you have the built-in supporters, and they will make noise every second of that match.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you have only 5,000 supporters there, and you only have another 10,000, casual fans or whatever the case may be there, 15K in there. I think they're going to be expecting more.
I agree with you. I think playing at Snapdragon Stadium, the expansion fee being in the hundreds of millions of dollars, I think the expectation is to draw in a huge way in 2025 coming up next month. All right, we have those Aztec tickets we'll give away. You'll hear from Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio. Coming up, we're on Roki Sasaki Watch as well. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
This update's brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State coming off a win last night over Colorado State. We'll take on UNLV Saturday night, 5 p.m. tip time. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's Brian Dutcher bobblehead night, so get your tickets while you can. We'll be giving away some tickets here coming up during Trainwreck Radio. And today, it's official, John. Roki can sign with any team. He has until the 23rd to do so. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, if you missed John Morosi, really good baseball insider. We have the latest on Roki Sasaki. Coming up in a moment. Again, a chance to win Aztec basketball tickets coming up later this hour. And Mike Fehren was with us earlier today, MLB Network Radio. If you missed the conversation, you'll hear it in the 5 o'clock hour. Really good insight on Roki and Padres offseason needs as well. Like Jim said, the signing window is now open. It will close in 8 days. We're all waiting. We're just refreshing and waiting collectively.
How magical would it be for us personally, the show, if the news dropped during between 2 and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday?
Right. Not for Padres fans, not for our listeners, not for but for us.
For us.
How great would it be for you and me?
Oh,
it would be cool. If that now, it would only be cool if he ended up with the Padres.
Right.
I don't want
it's
the 201. It's the Dodgers, and we spent 4 hours on it.
And we're like basically at that moment in time ceasing, like stopping the show.
Correct.
Like it's over. We're done.
Correct.
Our careers are done.
No, I don't think. Honestly, I mean, the
I know.
Dodgers won the World Series. I mean, so if they sign Roki Sasaki, what does that mean? What does that mean? They're more likely to win the World Series?
They just got better?
Well, they've gotten better a lot over the years.
That's true.
Unfortunately. I mean, they added Shohei Ohtani.
And Blake Snell.
Yeah, like in the last 2 years, they've done a lot. Teoscar Hernandez, Tyler Glasnow. Like, they've done a lot.
Yamamoto.
Right. Like, I think they're fine either way, which goes back to the initial part of the conversation. I don't even think Roki makes them more of a World Series favorite.
So he lands with the Dodgers. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go hypothetical.
Okay.
There's no way you'll believe anything other than this thing was already fixed from the beginning, right?
I mean, that's basically where my mind is going.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Wolf represents some other Dodgers, but he's an agent.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean,
I would bet you, too, that if and when Sasaki picks the Dodgers, you can't tell me that the Padres and the Blue Jays inside that organization, their organizations won't think the same thing. Like, yeah, it was fixed from the beginning.
Well, do you think the Padres are under the assumption that it's not happening? Or do you think that they are quietly confident, like a Bob Nightingale suggested earlier in the week?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there might be people in there confident, but I also do think there are probably people in there that don't feel confident.
Sure.
That are hesitant to feel that way and might have the mindset of like, yeah, this was never going to happen. I don't know. Like that could be the case, but I do think from like a fan's perspective and whatnot, he picks the Dodgers, then every single fan, even Dodger fans, will come to the conclusion that this thing was fixed from the beginning.
I don't think Dodger fans will say that. They'll say, well, we're the best. Of course he chose us. We just won a World Series. We have Japanese stars that he played with in the WBC.
You know what I am worried about? Not me personally, but
yeah, what?
If you're Roki, and we've seen the reports of how, and not seen the reports, Joe Wolf even said it, that the media in Japan was harsh and critical of Roki, and that really affected him.
Right.
You know what's going to happen if Roki picks like the Padres. Every single loser Dodger fan out there will just spam this guy's account left and right. Not saying that Padres fans or Blue Jays fans wouldn't do the same thing, but I think there would be infinitely more troll Dodger fans out there attacking this guy if he doesn't pick the Dodgers.
So you think then he goes back to Chibalote?
Yeah, he just goes back to Japan.
We're in a world where public figures are going to receive a lot of backlash on social media. It's one thing to be criticized by the media. It's another thing for fans to raise their voices loud on social media. It happens in all sport. So what? You know, then someone should control his Instagram account. He shouldn't be looking at his DMs, is what I would say in that regard. I mean, shoot, a college kicker misses a field goal. They get ridiculous threats on the internet. That's not right. So, yeah, Roki Sasaki is going to be under intense scrutiny.
Wherever he goes.
Wherever. Even if he goes to LA, there'll be Padres fans saying, what did he's getting DMs, is my point.
He'll be getting a lot of comments.
People are sliding in right now. Like, where are you going to sign, dude?
You can slide into his
if they're closed. They're probably closed.
You know, you can post something. Like his last post, John, was January 8th. It was him on a mound at a high school in LA.
Right.
It just said, ... And this was
it was last week, you said?
January 8th. So that was
a week ago.
7 days ago.
Yeah, so a week ago. He was loading. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you're making the transition from Japan to Major League Baseball, you're going to have some thick skin in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think even Shohei Ohtani's had to have some thick skin, has he not? We followed the off the field issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a massive story.
His team also did a very good job of shielding him and making sure that thing quieted down quickly and his interpreter took 100% of the fall.
But if his DMs are open, I'm sure there's been a lot of critiquing. I'm sure he's heard from a lot of people.
Yeah, but he had a very good team and also the help of Major League Baseball shielding him.
The biggest story that got swept under anything in the history of professional sports is that story.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's almost an afterthought today.
Yeah, no one talks about it.
In real time, it was massive for a brief period of time. Then he was cleared immediately.
You can't tell me that this dude, as close as he was to Ipe, had no idea what was going on.
Well, this is a whole nother.
I just find that it's like, no,
but
stop.
This goes back to my point that these athletes are under ridiculous scrutiny. Manny Machado, can you imagine the amount of scrutiny he's under, even here in San Diego? Every move he makes is magnified.
Yeah.
When he was quoted by Kevin Acee 2 years ago about, what is this, high school baseball? Everyone has an opinion on Manny Machado. Everyone's going to have an opinion on Roki Sasaki's decision.
Yeah, but Manny wasn't involved in a gambling scandal. I know that.
No, that's true. That's very, very true.
People will tell you that Ohtani was really that ignorant.
Do you buy the Manny Sasaki dinner rumor?
I buy that during his visit there was some dinner. I don't know where, but I know that I don't know, but I believe that there was some type of dinner that was had with players and
so maybe it's someone's house as opposed to like going out in North Park. I think they'd see the 17 Padres.
Yeah, you probably have it at someone's house and you have a private chef come in or you have it catered or whatever the case may be. And that's probably the most private you could get.
You think that chef is signing an NDA?
Yep.
Me too. Seriously, anyone there outside of the organization?
Yeah, Manny's rich enough. He's got to have a personal chef, right?
Well, they can bring one in for the night.
Yeah.
He just did renovations on the.
If I was that rich, I'd have a private chef. Damn right I would. I want to eat the best meals every day.
You do have a private chef. It's you, Fehren. You cook every night.
I make like artichokes all the time. That's not like the best meals ever. It's really good, but
it's good.
If I had crazy FU money, I would hire a private chef just to make me Chef Boyardee and stuff. Don't even make me like fancy things. I'm going to pay you to make me the same crap I'm eating now.
There is something to be said about having someone cook food for you, because isn't it annoying every day, the same process? What are we going to eat?
Yep.
Where are we going to do dinner?
That's literally like 90% of our starting conversation points.
Like, oh, do you want to do pizza?
When I get home from work.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
What are we doing? What's for dinner?
So that's basically the number one benefit of being rich.
Is you don't
have to have that conversation every second of every day with your significant other.
Now, luckily, a lot of times we like plan our meals out. So we'll go to the store and be like, all right, we got this for a night. We got this for a night. But then when I get home, it's the decision of what do I want to make first? And there's no way that I buy, you go out and buy food and every night's like a banger meal. You're like, I love that. I love that. You're going to pick the best thing you want to eat first. And then as you get later in the week, it's like the one thing that you didn't want to really eat, but you bought it because you know it's probably like healthy for you. But then you got to cook it so it doesn't go bad. And then you're just like, ugh.
It's a process, man. I mean, you don't have any kids, right, Jim?
Not that I know of.
That you know of?
No.
That's a whole nother component.
Oh,
What is the child? What are they going to eat?
Oh, they're eating mac and cheese for like the
I
first
don't
5
want
years
this,
of their
Mom.
life.
We're going to eat it. We just made it.
Yeah.
So like
chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. That's what I'm going with.
Right.
You're not going to make your kids those arugula sprinkled Brussels sprouts or whatever the hell you were making the other night.
I do that.
I would not. And it's a good excuse to
I can't imagine the kid would eat that.
It's a good excuse to tell Aaron, let's just have chicken nuggets tonight.
Right, exactly. By the way, Jones is nearly 6. He has still yet to eat any meat item. That's why I'm a meat freak or a neat freak or whatever that's
that poor child.
6 years in.
Yeah, no, Calvin knows Dino Nuggies.
If you know, you know
about it.
Yeah, Jones has those, but they're not real.
Oh, they're like
tofu.
ones?
Oh, they're not made out of real dinosaurs?
You're an awful
extinct.
dad.
Dude, that's not nice.
I know it's not nice, but that's a mean thing to do to your kid.
No, it's not. It's really not.
You gave him Beyond Meat Dino Nuggets?
Correct.
Did you tell him what they are?
Yeah, he likes them. He thinks he doesn't know.
And truthfully, probably when he gets older and he does eat
he's gonna
meat,
rebel.
He's gonna rebel and never
And
talk
hate
to
us.
you and hate you.
Right.
But there could be that off chance that he's like eats it and goes, yeah, it's not for me.
Exactly.
Because he's been eating this for the
He's going to be like
whole
the
his life.
Devontae Adams commercial, or he's going to have like McDonald's in his house.
Taco Bell inside your house.
Let's get to Trainwreck Radio on the other side. Call right now if you want a chance to win 2 free tickets to Saturday at Viejas Arena, Brian Dutcher bobblehead night, San Diego State, UNLV, 5 p.m. tip-off right here on San Diego Sports 760. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia. We call it Trainwreck Radio, 877-767-4760. Call right now. First 2 callers are our contestants, 877-767-4760. Trivia, Trainwreck Radio, Aztec basketball tickets. Next. All right, hey guys, it's Schaefer and homeowners. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Loan Pronto is here, and they're here to help you take control of your finances by lowering your house payment and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidations, and purchase loans starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate's over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in the process with another lender, call Loan Pronto, lock in a lower rate today, and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now. Here's the number, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. us up on the talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760, tap that little microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second. Also, Lakers basketball tonight. They'll host the Heat. Pre-game coverage at 6:45, tip-off at 7. You're home for the Lakers in San Diego. 760. What were you saying? Is it something you want to share on air or off air?
I honestly forget what I was saying.
You were saying something about a minute.
Oh, I was saying I missed that extra 2 minutes from my 2-minute drill.
So you wanted an additional 2-minute break for something that you used to do that you're no longer doing, but you still want the 2-minute break.
Correct.
Why don't you just keep doing them? Then?
Yeah, just keep doing them. When we get 2 minutes, every 2 hours.
Do them for fun.
Do them. Be a man.
I
have one for you today.
Let me answer that question for you. No.
I have one for you. This is John's 2-minute drill. The Roki Sasaki sweepstakes are nearing an end, and there's 3 suitors still left standing. The difference, though, between the Padres and the Dodgers is the Padres really need him and the Dodgers don't.
Here's John Heyman.
Here's Buster Olney from Baseball Tonight back in March of 2016 when Sasaki first moved to Tokyo.
2 minutes later.
Now finish it up.
That's why the Blue Jays aren't going to land him. I'm Jim Russell.
I hate Colin Cowherd.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, Dan Patrick, whatever you're talking about doesn't even make sense.
No, I like Dan.
Okay. Okay.
That was good. That
that pretty good?
That was good. Yeah. That was good. I'm Jim Russell. I don't talk like that.
The Niners quarterback situation won't be resolved overnight, but it should be.
Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy? Here's Colin Cowherd and his stupid take.
The one thing about Draymond Green now is they're just not winning like they used to. You could put up with it when they won, but now you can't.
The window is officially closed.
I'm Colin. I'm
Dan Patrick.
If you missed Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, we'll share that with you coming up in the 5 o'clock
How
hour.
does anybody listen to this show?
I have no idea. Honestly, I can't even listen.
What?
But we wouldn't be on the air if you weren't listening, so keep listening.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Greg and we have James. Greg, you called in first. You have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'll pick Jim.
All right,
Jim.
Greg and Jim.
That's a shocker.
James and John. James, you there?
I'm there.
Isn't that actually your name?
It's my real name, yes.
That's so weird.
I know. James Albert Russell. Anyway, Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, there have been only 6 NFL MVPs since 2015. Today's question, name any of those 6 players who have won an NFL MVP award since 2015.
NFL MVP since 2015.
Since 2015, there's only been 6 of them.
All right, James, you're up first. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. What's your first guess? Go.
Brady.
Marsha?
No.
Okay.
Greg, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Ooh,
Lamar. James, back to you. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I will use my lifeline.
Is that me?
James, that's John. Yeah.
I'll give you the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers.
Brent's rolling his eyes.
I'll give you Aaron Rodgers.
You take that, James?
Okay.
Top 30 Jets quarterback ever.
Okay. Greg.
Right behind Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, exactly.
Greg, second guess. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. What do you got?
I'll go Mahomes.
Mahomes.
That's a good point. Yeah.
How did not that go first?
Good point.
James, back to you. You
Oh
don't have
my
the lifeline,
gosh.
so it's all up to you, buddy.
I'm drawing a blank. Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce. Has he won? No, he didn't capture
Wah,
an
wah.
MVP.
Greg, you could win it here with the correct answer. You do have a lifeline if you want to use it. What do you got?
This is the only time I've been thankful to have a really good friend who's a Falcons fan. I'm going to go Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow.
There we
For
go.
the win.
That's a good one.
From MVP to working on like Sunday Night Football or whatever he's doing.
Was
CBS.
Yeah. When he got knocked off, right? No, that was Drew Brees.
No, it's Drew Brees. He's doing these the pregame shows, right? The full set. He's on the set.
Yeah. Well, Drew Brees is on that list.
No, he's not.
Wow.
Cam Newton's on that list.
Yes, he's the last.
So the last one is Cam Newton from 2015 or 16?
Yeah, from 2015.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, technically, we could have went back to 2014 because Rodgers won in 2014.
Right,
so
right.
there's still only been 6 since then.
All right. Well, congratulations because you're going to see the Aztecs Saturday at 5 p.m. Brian Dutcher bobblehead night, San Diego State UNLV. That's Saturday night, Viejas Arena, 5 p.m. If tickets are available, go to goaztecs.com. All fans in attendance get a Brian Dutcher bobblehead. How cool is that? Dutch bobblehead night. And the Brian Dutcher show, by the way, is tomorrow at 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. And Jim wants me to ask 100 questions about the bobblehead.
Correct.
So congrats on winning. We named the MVPs. Who's the last non-quarterback MVP in the NFL, Brett?
Adrian Peterson?
That's right. I think that's right.
Yeah, in 2012. He went back. 2012.
You had a run of running backs there in the early 2000s with LT, Sean Alexander.
Okay, yeah.
Then you had Adrian Peterson. Now it's like running backs can never win the award.
Hell, if you take Peterson out in 2012, the last one that did it was LT in 2006.
And before that was Sean Alexander, right?
Yeah, the year before.
Yeah. So back-to-back years with running backs as MVPs, and now you'll never see that again.
But yeah, only 2 non-quarterbacks in pretty much the past 20 years.
Barkley's going to win it.
Barkley.
Charles.
Charles Barkley's going to win it.
Chuck.
All right, so 5 o'clock hour. If you want the latest on Roki, you're going to stay with us. We're going to hear from John Morosi. You're also going to hear from Mike Fehren. What are you laughing at?
In our chat, Miss Do It All, a loyal listener and viewer of our show on YouTube. My entire sanity right now is dependent on if the Padres get Sasaki.
Yeah, we're twins.
Yeah, that's
how do you think we feel?
Exactly. We are right there with you, Miss Do It All.
Who said yesterday, like, if we had $1 for every time you said the word Sasaki or Roki?
Who was
the Padres?
that?
It was Dave.
Yeah.
He's like, you'd have unlimited money.
Right. Or if like we played a drinking game, we'd be dead.
Oh, we'd be long gone. We would have been gone in October of 2024, probably.
Like
So-
we didn't officially start mentioning his name every day until like
November.
I think November. Yeah.
No, but we talked about it before then. Once the season ended, we shifted gears to praying that the Dodgers wouldn't win the World Series. Then they won. And then we shifted gears again.
To praying the Dodgers don't get Sasaki.
Right. Which
they might get him.
Exactly.
Probably will.
So basically anything that we hope happens doesn't.
Correct. So
Ever since game 4 of the NLDS.
maybe we should just like not care anymore.
No, no, I can't do that. Not at this point. I can't not care.
We are too dug in.
Imagine like the day he signs and it's not with San Diego, and we're just like,
what do we do now?
We're like,
No, I'm just kidding.
let's preview the Knicks Thunder game tonight. It's 6 o'clock Central. I mean, no, we're gonna have to talk about no matter where he goes, Toronto, San Diego, LA, Chibalote. I mean, wherever he goes, we're gonna talk about it.
We just put so much time and effort into this thing.
So much.
And we've done nothing to like recruit him. We just talked about it.
It's just such a good point. Yeah. All right. Hour 4 of Jon and Jim is on the other side. The latest on Roki coming up next.
This update is brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State beating Colorado State last night, 75-60. Miles Bird with 25 points, a career high in the win. Next up, they'll take on UNLV Saturday night, 5 p.m. tip time. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
At the end of the day, what you're saying, and I understand it. Let's say at this point the Padres are like, you know what? Why are we acquiring international slot money? We have no assurances he's coming here. Let's go sign X, Y, and Z. Or let's wait this process out without taking on more money. To me, that's like you get to the 1 yard line and you're like, I'll kick a field goal. Like, you got this is the 11th hour. We've talked about this for 44 days.
Scared money don't make money,
Thank
bro.
you. Like, AJ, like,
trade everything
this is the time,
for international pool money now.
This is the time to buy another phone if you're AJ Preller. He should be more on the phone.
Buy another Toyota Corolla.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Like, we've been talking about it for 40 days. He talked to Peter Seidler about their infatuation with Roki Sasaki.
Do everything you possibly can.
Yes. And if it doesn't happen, so what? You haven't done anything else.
Yeah. It's not like you're going to not field a team next year.
Okay, so you're not, so you can't sign JB Wendelhecken or whatever his name is?
Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim. If you missed Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio a couple of hours ago, you'll hear it coming up around 5:30 this afternoon. Plus, John Morosi has the very latest on Roki. We'll share with you momentarily. We've been talking about it all offseason. The time is now. The window is open. The top international player in the world is available to sign with any team, but it's down to 3. Padres, Dodgers, Blue Jays. We are refreshing social media so you don't have to.
Yeah, our wives love it.
Oh, absolutely. Kristen has been
they welcome
thrilled.
It,
she honestly, what Kristen really loves is when I spend more time on my phone.
That's what Aaron does.
She's like, why don't you spend more time on it?
She'll see me on the phone and she'll come over, give me a kiss on the cheek, and she'll say, just spend all night on the phone, Jim.
Yeah, she kisses you and then she kisses the phone. Like, okay,
yeah,
enjoy.
You two have fun together.
Yeah, have fun tonight.
Yeah, you
phone.
Yeah, talk to John and just look at your phone.
Yeah,
that's great.
We're going to.
Yep, and then they can just go do whatever they want. They don't care.
Right.
Not at all.
Right. Kristen's been watching a lot of murder mysteries.
You know what we watched the other night?
No, I don't.
It involves murder. Is the Jerry Springer doc on Netflix?
Yeah, that's right. There was a murder case in that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was very interesting. The show.
Oh yeah, it was. It almost feels like they were dubbing it the birth of trash television. You know?
Well, that's because it was the birth.
It kind of was.
Television.
Yeah, I know.
That's Geraldo and
they were
Donahue
saying it was like pretty much was, and I agree. You know, I wasn't like in the peak of Jerry Springer. I was like 10.
Were you ever a guest on the show?
No, I never had any problems to reach out to Jerry.
I had a bunch of my friends that went to the show and they're in the audience. They were on TV a bunch, yeah.
You think there could be one like with like Sasaki? Like, my friend is a Dodger fan. He's convinced Sasaki is coming.
Well, since
they can get Ohtani and Ippei and do the ding 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 ding.
Is he alive?
No,
I didn't watch the end.
He died in 2023.
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Former mayor of Cincinnati, John.
I know.
How did you forget? But it was a good documentary, and there was murder in there. It's like
and there's murder in there.
Well, because you said Kristen's watching a lot of murder docs right now. Which one should you watching?
I have no idea. Everyone.
Have you watched the
everyone? She finished the internet.
John Benet Ramsey one?
Of course.
That's a good one.
There have been 1,000.
That's such a weird documentary because you come away either 100% thinking that it was her family or brother, or you come away with it 100% thinking that they still haven't found the murderer yet. And it was that guy that was in like Taiwan or something.
This is exactly where I wanted to start the 5 p.m. hour. I'm glad you went with the John Benet Ramsey Netflix new documentary.
We are waiting for Roki. What else are we going to talk about?
I mean, there are other things. There are a number of other things that we can talk about. Okay,
John Benet Ramsey.
For example, we haven't touched on in forever the NBA ever since you ripped that Thunder game that was on between like 235 and 5 teams.
Yeah, and guess what? Nobody talked about it the next day.
Okay,
2 best teams in the league. It didn't lead SportsCenter, didn't lead First Take, didn't lead Colin, nothing.
They talked about it, though.
We talked about it.
So we haven't touched on the NBA in forever. We can. Lakers are here tonight.
Adam Silver was on the station today.
Yes, he was talking about the 3-point line, right?
He was, yeah.
And fixing the 3-point issue, which is basically all shots occur from 3 right now.
To sum it up,
in the NBA,
he said, we'll take care of it.
Which is what? Moving the line back, right?
I don't think they'll even fix it anymore, though.
Because they're such good shooters?
Well, no. It used to be, back in the day, they could move the 3-point line back because everyone just shot at the line. Now, everyone shoots 10 feet behind the line to start with. So they move it back, say 5 feet. Who cares? They're still shooting past that.
All right, let's hear from John Morosi. I don't want to talk about the 3-point line. All right,
on
John
his favorite
Morosi
murder mysteries
from earlier today. The latest on Roki Sasaki.
Lauren, we are in the zone where we can certainly find out about Roki Sasaki's choice on where he's going to begin his major league career. Now, we know the 3 teams. We saw the inspired pitches from Matt and Harold during the A block, which I thought were riveting and very true to life. But what I'll say about today is this. Pay very close attention as you hear signings start to happen around Major League Baseball or potentially trades. Because remember, the finalists for Sasaki can begin to acquire additional international signing bonus pool allocations by trade. This is one piece of the MLB CBA that's really relevant today, that you can trade, whether it's players for signing bonus capacity or additional allocations here and there. Pay close attention today to see which teams are signing players and which teams are trading for additional bandwidth, because those are the 3 finalists. There was a report yesterday from The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal, Fabian Ardaya reporting yesterday that the Dodgers with their players were having the additional meeting with Roki Sasaki, and we'll see how that final sales pitch comes to be. I would say this too, Lauren. I'm really intrigued by the way in which all 3 of these teams, whether it's Mark Pryor with the Dodgers, Ruben Niebla with the Padres, Pete Walker with the Blue Jays, the pitching coaches, I believe they are the closers here to have the communication with Roki Sasaki and his agent about how they can help him reach his full potential over the next 6 years to then eventually sign his Ohtani-like contract many years into the future by achieving his top potential as a major league pitching star.
Hey, no pressure, Ruben Niebla. You got to close this thing out, buddy.
No pressure. And then make him the best pitcher ever so he can get a $600 million deal.
And not play with the Padres.
I say from someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, turn him into a beast. So then he goes to the Dodgers in 6 years when he's already established.
I will sign up for that right now. I will sign that on a dotted line right now. Roki comes here now and in 6 years goes to the Dodgers. I am all on board and will sign that on a dotted line right now in the 5 p.m. hour.
After he wins what with the Padres?
Well, that's the thing. At least he gives you a better chance because he's going to spend 6 seasons with you. And Manny Machado in 6 seasons is 40 or whatever it is. Yes.
So, okay. Hypothetical.
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
All right. It's like playing checkers.
I'm playing chess, man.
And you're playing chess.
Yep.
But at the same time, what if he develops here and then he becomes even better when he goes to LA?
I'm willing.
$300 million.
I'm willing to risk it. It's like the Soto 2.5 year thing. We always knew he could have ended up in LA afterwards, or
yeah.
I'm willing to risk it.
You know what that scenario reminds me of?
Thanos.
No, that's Jim's brain. Greg Maddux. He's with the Cubs forever, and then he leaves and goes to Atlanta.
Yeah. And no one remembers when he was with the Cubs because all they remember is his time in Atlanta when he won all those Cy Youngs.
Are you saying no to my hypothetical?
I'm not saying no to it, but I'm not
you're not gung ho on it. Who cares about 7 years from now?
Be like, absolutely,
Jim. You're gonna be
gone. I know.
Who even knows? You'll be playing golf somewhere.
Yeah, I'll be done. I'll be gone.
7 year. What year is it? 2025. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. I don't care about 2031.
True.
Right?
True.
So that's the theory on it. 6 seasons of Roki, and he ends up with the Dodgers when he's 29 years of age. I'm fine with it. I don't care.
$400 million contract because inflation by that time will be like through the roof.
Right. I mean, who says no to that? 877-767-4760 or 70470 start it with team. We can't worry about later. I don't have time for later. I got time for the 2025 season. You and I feel the same way on it. We're not thinking 3 seasons ahead.
We're thinking 1 season now.
Right. Exactly. And everything's going to be different in 6 years. Everything
will be different next year.
Exactly. Good. That's why I'm going to play for now. If I'm AJ Preller, I can't even. If I'm Preller, if I'm John Seidler, if I'm Shield Seidler, if I'm John Schaefer, I'm not worried about the next contract.
No, but
I'm worried about the now.
But really, though, Ruben, bro, get this done.
Ruben, get this done. That's the way you're selling this.
I hope
that
during their presentation, Ruben had, something that stood out to Sasaki. I don't know if there's going to be anything there. I don't know, but if what John Morosi is saying is that, the closers here could be the pitching coaches because those are the guys that are going to be directly, connected every single day with Sasaki to turn him into the star pitcher that he wants to be. I hope that he found a liking to Ruben.
I mean, you do make an interesting point, which is like you hope that the message that he tried to deliver was received well. Like, how do you deliver that message is a good point. And again, how do you separate yourself from these other teams? Maybe at the end of the day, when the book is written on this and the saga ends, we'll learn truly the reason as to why he chose the team that he chooses. Like at the end of the day, what's going to happen, Jim. If he chooses the Dodgers, the LA Times is going to have like a 4,000 word. I could already see the ESPN passing. The untold story of how Roki Sasaki ended up in LA when his plane landed at 2:59 p.m. December 19th, and he went to the Wasserman.
What really stuck out to Sasaki was was playing with
100%,
Ohtani
100%.
and Yamamoto, one of his really good friends from Japan.
100%.
And
right? You ready for that article? The 5,000 words from passing with big words?
Probably already ready to go.
Ready to go for that article?
Like
you could already
think Pass's probably writing it right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, and in that article, if he lands with the Padres, what role does Ruben be able to play? I'm on board with what you're saying. I bet if that article is written, the untold story, how do they do this? Ruben Niebla probably will be featured prominently in that article if he lands in San Diego.
Lifetime contract.
Yeah, at that point, you're going to lock him up.
Yeah, who do we credit for this? I know AJ will get a lot of credit, but Ruben, if he comes here, I think is going to be like the whisperer to make it all happen.
Dude, if AJ pulls this off with all the negative press and the payroll coming down and the lawsuit,
the competition of the Dodgers
up against the Dodgers who just won the World Series, the way they've spent, the way the Padres have been so quiet, this is a complete magic act if he's able to do this.
Rabbit out of hat.
It is. It's a complete magic trick if this somehow happens. And maybe it will. We'll hear from Mike Fehren coming up in about 15 minutes from MLB Network Radio. We're here until 6 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. All right, Jon and Jim back with you. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, coming up shortly. Our conversation on Roki and the Padres offseason and their needs coming up in about 10 minutes. By the way, Jim.
Yes, John?
There's a new iHeartRadio app.
I know. Do you have it yet?
No. Do you?
Yes. Why don't you have it?
Because it's not available for me for some unknown reason in the App Store. But every other human can download it right now and search for Jon and Jim in 760 and put us in your presets and listen daily on the app.
Get a new phone. Be a man.
My phone's like the iPhone 80. All right. So Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, joins us Friday. We'll get into these divisional round games, but we've got a pair of games, obviously in the AFC, 2 games in the NFC, divisional weekend, Saturday, Chiefs, Texans, followed by Lions, Commanders. Sunday, Eagles, Rams, followed by Bills, Ravens. You were just telling me that the weather, not shockingly, in Buffalo in the middle of January is going to be horrific with wind chills in the negatives and the actual temperature at kickoff around 10 or 15.
14 degrees. It's going to feel like -3.
That's cold.
With wind, snow. Why would anybody live in Buffalo? It's beyond me.
Because you don't live outside.
Imagine sitting there without your shirt on, like half the fans are doing. Maybe not half, but like 5 guys are doing. Look at me. I have Bills on my chest.
That just sounds like an awful place to live. Now, it's coming from somebody who lives in San Diego, the best place to live.
Right.
So take that for what it's will.
I mean, it's cold and it snows.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you about it.
But at game, I mean, this is going to affect, obviously, the game. If it's windy,
right,
and it feels like 3 degrees, in your opinion, who do you think has the edge?
Buffalo.
I think the Ravens do with their run game.
Okay, not Buffalo just because they're Buffalo, playing in Buffalo.
It's not like it's cold. It gets cold in Baltimore too.
Not like that.
Now, yeah, not like that. But Josh Allen put the team on his back, and they have James Cook, and they could run the ball really well and really effectively as well. But like Lamar and Derrick Henry are a different beast, in my opinion.
What's the Baltimore weather?
Right now it's 25 degrees.
That's cold.
What an awful place to live.
Baltimore's an awful place to live. Yeah, no, here's the thing. I am all in on the Lamar Jackson, this is the year. But I guess a lot of people probably are saying the same thing about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, this is the year.
Yeah, but Josh Allen doesn't really have that stigma like Lamar Jackson has.
True.
That, they want to paint him out to be the Clayton Kershaw of the NFL, where as soon as it gets into playoff time, he just chokes.
True.
I think that this game, to me, is more important for Josh because they're at home. He's perceived, I think, as the MVP, even though he didn't get first team All-Pro honors, and those are the same MVP voters.
Right.
But it'd be very weird if the AP voters had Lamar as first team quarterback, and then they voted for Allen for MVP. That'd be very weird.
That would be weird.
But you're at home. You get, it's like almost like play this game. Whoever wins gets the MVP.
Oh, I like that idea. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like put even more on the line. Not just the loser goes home for the offseason.
Yeah.
But the winner gets the MVP award.
But I do think it sets up perfectly for a scenario and situation where Ravens, Chiefs, AFC title game, flip-flop scenario from last year where they were on the road in Baltimore, the Chiefs were, and how the Chiefs went in there and they won that game. I think you could see it opposite this year.
Changing of the guard.
Not changing of the guard, but like, hey, winning a Super Bowl 3 straight years in a row is tough.
More likely to win at Arrowhead, Buffalo or Baltimore.
I'm going to take Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all in on Baltimore right now.
I kind of am too.
I am all in on Baltimore.
I kind of am too, yeah.
NFC, Eagles, Rams, Sunday, Lions, Commanders on Saturday. Any shot here for Washington?
No. I think they'll have a valiant effort.
Lose by a touchdown.
I think Detroit's offense is just going to they're already really good, and you give them time to prepare. Now, Ben Johnson has been interviewing for a lot of head coaching jobs, so that could play a factor in this thing as well. But I just think that they're going to be so buttoned up, and I don't know if Washington is going to be able to stop them.
What about Eagles, Rams?
You say the Rams, right?
I really like the Rams. I think the Rams win this game.
I don't. I think, weather's going to play a factor. Now it's not going to be snowing
Right.
like Buffalo,
Right.
but it's going to be cold in Philly.
Gets cold in LA.
I just think cross country. I think the crowd's going to be insane. I think you're going to see an AFC and NFC title games of Chiefs, Ravens, and Lions and Eagles.
Eagles is Sunday. Look at this. I just typed in Philadelphia weather. Sunday, there's a little snowflake emoji.
Oh, nice.
35 is the high with snow.
Oh, must be nice.
35% chance of precipitation. Yeah, weather will be a factor this weekend in the divisional round of the postseason. We're going to take a time out now because we have a lengthy conversation with Mike Fehren from MLB Network Radio to share with you on the other side. Again, we're here until 6 p.m. Jim's back page is still ahead as well. Mike Fehren on Roki Sasaki and what the Padres are going to do between now and opening day. That's next on Jon and Jim.
This update is brought to you by unbound.org. San Diego State beat Colorado State last night, 75-60. Miles Byrd had a career night, scoring 25 points in the win. Next up, Saturday against UNLV, 5 p.m. tip time. It's Brian Dutcher bobblehead night, so get your tickets while they last. And you can listen to the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
All right, so we had a chance to catch up with a great baseball voice, Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio. And if you missed this conversation, we started by seeking any type of information that Mike Fehren has on Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, my pleasure. First of all, I mean, I don't know. Like, it was just at the Corbin Burns press conference this afternoon here in Phoenix, and was talking to people about Sasaki too. And the truth of the matter is that nobody knows what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. The Padres sound very confident from what I understand. I know Bob Nightingale tweeted that yesterday, and Bob and I were talking a little bit about it at the presser, just in that there's a confidence that the Padres have that he's going to be with them. But I believe the Dodgers have the same confidence as well. And I don't think, listen, you're not coming from Japan and flying all the way to Toronto to, throw at Rogers Center and tour the city without making it a serious consideration, So I wish I had a good answer for you or some real insight, but there just isn't any. And, we're just going to be waiting from today until, the 23rd. Mm-hmm. Sasaki could make his decision at any time, and my guess is it'll kind of come out of the blue in the same way that Ohtani's did. And if you remember when Ohtani signed with the Angels, that literally knocked Billy Epler, their GM, out of his chair. He was sitting in his chair, he got the phone call, and he tilted back and fell out of it. He was so surprised. So I have a feeling that metaphorically, probably as opposed to literally, whoever ends up, Sasaki ends up choosing, the executives will have the same feel.
Okay, so let's go to hypotheticals, because we love hypotheticals here.
Sure.
He lands with the Padres. How much better does this make the Padres in the now and the future, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think in the future it makes them, listen, it answers a lot of questions, right? Because it gives them a bona fide starter. I do think in the short term it makes them better than what they are right now. They will have a better roster. But I think the other problem to keep in mind with it is that he didn't throw that many innings last year because of injury. And, the Sasaki that I saw in the WBC wasn't a finished product. There's 2 years age difference between him and Yamamoto. And the polish was significantly different in that event from Yamamoto than it was from Sasaki. Now, granted, that's 2 years ago now. So, he has likely improved in that regard. But I am skeptical that he is going to have a huge impact for all of this season. I think he will have impactful moments because his stuff is good enough that that'll be the case. But I would not be surprised that he's a lot like most other 23-year-old starters who have excelled in the minors, but who have not faced big league hitters consistently, that there are going to be some moments that aren't great. I don't think this is Paul Skeens coming in and dominating the league. I think he's a guy that will have dominant stuff and have dominant stretches, but I would not be surprised if that it's more, he follows more of the path of like a traditional player when they come to the big leagues, as opposed to just being an ascendant star from the moment that he toes the rubber.
Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, back with us here. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. This has been well documented and written about here. This ownership dispute, lawsuit, infighting, whatever you want to call it. Do you think this is at all impactful when it comes to Roki or not?
I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know that he has what his relationship is like with ownership in Japan. I don't know that he's trying to build relationships with the owners in the U.S. the same way. I mean, listen, like he could theoretically do that with the Dodgers owners, right? Because Mark Walter, who's their the head of their ownership group, is pretty prominent and is around, right? Even though I think he lives full time in Chicago, or at least part of the time in Chicago. There's not really anybody to pal up to in Toronto because they're owned by Rogers Communication, which is one of the biggest communication companies in the world. Mm-hmm. So I'm skeptical. I don't think it helps, but I'm skeptical that it's going to have a huge impact on what his decision is. Like the reason if he chooses the Dodgers or the Blue Jays, I don't think it's going to be because of the Padres ownership situation. I think it's, like if it's the Dodgers, it's going to be because they have a long history now of developing young pitchers who are pretty good, albeit some with injury history. And if he chooses Toronto, it's because they have gotten more out of pitchers at the big league level than when those guys arrived. So I think it probably has a much more practical application on him being great than it does on him trying to cozy up to ownership. This isn't the Juan Soto, Peter Seidler relationships that we're looking at.
Yeah. And as far as the lawsuit and the infighting between the Seidler brothers and the widow of Peter, how much do you think that could affect just, future off seasons go as far as spending and potentially down the line, this may turn into, a selling of the team. Like how big of a deal do you, in your opinion, think this is?
Well, I think for the ownership, it has the potential to be a pretty big deal. I think the odds are overwhelming. And listen, I've had some conversations with people around it. I don't want to make it sound like I have a ton of information because I don't, but it does sound like there is a good chance that people were told what they wanted to hear at some point, but that that most likely the scenario is that the Seidler brothers will have control of the team if this goes to court. And I'm not I would not think that this is going to go to court because the last thing that any company wants in a lawsuit like this is to have discovery and have, even if it's relatively minor dirty laundry, there's almost always an email that has something that can be inflammatory in it, even if it's not intended that way. So I would be shocked if that ended up happening. I do think a real potential outcome is a sale. And I think it's a question of, whether or not they get to that point or if there's something that can be negotiated that helps to get everybody onto the same page. I mean, Seidler was kind of frozen out by the brothers late in the season last year, and it's not entirely clear to me why that happened. But I'm also not sure that she, listen, she's an attorney, right? And so she has an idea of what legal recourse can bring. There are plenty of other attorneys that are working with the Seidler brothers as well. So I don't know where this goes. It doesn't look great. And generally infighting with owners ends up either with one person or one side taking full control and forcing the other out, or with a sale. I mean, the last time I really feel like we saw an infighting like this, where, with the exception of the Angelos lawsuit, which was, if kind of what was going on with Baltimore ownership was more just a way for Lou Angelos to make sure that he had control of the law firm, it seemed like. But you have to go back to like the Wilpons and Doubledays with the Mets. And when Nelson Doubleday's family was kind of forced out of that ownership and the Wilpons took control, there wasn't a lawsuit, but it was kind of a takeover. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. I am very curious to see where it goes. But there are a lot of different paths that I think lead to, potential change in who the point person is for the Padres at the very least, if not a full out sale. And again, this is reading tea leaves. I don't have any real inside information. It's just kind of watching the history of these events.
Yeah, something to certainly keep an eye on for Padres fans moving forward. Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio, with us right now on Jon and Jim. Switching gears from Roki to other needs for the Padres. Yeah. I mean, Jurickson Profar has played his best baseball here. We know he's a free agent. We know the Padres are maybe up against it already with the CBT. What's the market look like for Jurickson? What do you think is most likely?
Great question. It doesn't seem like there's any market for anybody right now, right?
Yeah.
Like the number of free agents that are out there. It's like the Padres keep getting lumped into this group of teams that haven't spent this winter, right? And like there's 5 teams that haven't spent a single dollar. Well, there's like 7 billion free agents still.
Right.
So like it's not a surprise that some of these teams haven't spent. I think Profar is obviously a very good fit. I would, if I am the Padres, I would be trying to negotiate from a standpoint of, hey, it's great that you performed well in a Padres uniform, but you haven't exactly had consistent performance from year to year. And I would be trying to use that. I don't know exactly how much money they have. I did read in the San Diego Union Tribune that the payroll was expected to go up from last year, but a lot of that could be taken up by internal raises, right? So, listen, they need an outfielder. They were in the same position in spring training last year where they needed 2, and they got Profar for 1 year, $1 million. So, and got an incredible season out of them. Now, I don't know that they're going to necessarily get somebody for $1 million, but there are other players out there that are potentially good fits. I'm a big Austin Hayes fan. I know it did not go well for him in Philly last year, but that was because he was dealing with a kidney ailment, which sounds like it is healed. He also basically his entire struggle in Baltimore uniform was with that giant left field that they had and against right-handed pitching at home. That was really all that he struggled. He's a pretty good player. He's still out there. Harrison Bader is a very good defender. You can even see him go back down a road of like David Peralta and create a platoon out there. I mean, I think left field, shortstop, and probably the rotation are 3 spots that they could still look at. And at the very least, an outfielder and somebody who can join the rotation makes sense. And that's why Sasaki is so important for them, because it is definitely the cheapest way to add a quality arm, because he would be making the league minimum this year. And that would be pretty remarkable to have that kind of talent, and to have him as part of this rotation going forward with both Cease and King heading to free agency.
And final one from me, before the lawsuit and Roki week, the big topic around here was like the Dylan Cease, I guess, uncertainty and the possibility of them trading Dylan Cease. If that were to happen, what do you think he could get in return?
I mean, I think it depends on where he would end up going. There were a lot of rumors about them talking to Baltimore, but Baltimore seems to have a fairly full rotation at this point. I mean, I think it only makes sense if you can fill multiple holes for multiple years, right? So, the Cease trade would be similar to what Corbin Burns was last year, which was Milwaukee did pretty well in that trade. They ended up with an everyday left side of the infielder and a left-hander to dream on, plus a draft pick, right? And so that was pretty good. And DL Hall has had some injury issues, but he's a premium left-hander, and I wouldn't be surprised if he and Trevor McGill are finishing games for the Brewers this year. And Ortiz, a little bit passive as a hitter, but a very good defender. He'll probably play shortstop for them. So Cease isn't quite what Burns was a year ago, but he's still pretty good. So something similar to that probably makes sense. You get a position player and a pitcher who might be a starter or might be a reliever, would make sense. Or 2 arms and maybe, somebody lower level, or a draft pick, which certainly they would love to be able to have more draft capital. I think this is an AJ Preller kind of draft because there's a ton of really good prep bats. So I think those are potential outcomes if they were to go down that road. I also wonder if they would consider it with Michael King as opposed to Cease, because King is a free agent after this year too. Mm-hmm. And, I think they're probably, listen, King was amazing last year, right? So that was a huge ramp up in innings. And, I'd be worried about that a little bit if I were a Warrior. And so, and those front offices are. So I think they have a couple of potential arms that they could move, but it doesn't mean that they're going to. And I don't necessarily think that they have to. I mean, if you add Sasaki to the mix, all of a sudden you're looking at him as their 4th starter, right?
Yeah.
He's King, Darvish, Sasaki, and then Matt Waldron, or Randy Vasquez or Johnny Brito. There's a lot of options for them there. And they've talked about stretching out Morejon, right? So it's pretty good. And maybe they can do some of that and trade, one of those starters to be able to fill a couple other holes. But I mean, at this point, I think everything is pretty much on hold until they figure out exactly, where Sasaki is going to play.
Mike, you're the best. Awesome insight for Padres fans. Everyone is just clamoring for information and news.
Refresh.
I can't do anything this weekend. Like, it's a long weekend. If he doesn't, I just got to stay by my phone. Yeah. But we'll have an answer at some point here soon. Always appreciate
We know that by January 23rd, we are going to have an answer on this. It's a lot different than like watching out the Alex Bregman sweepstakes.
True.
We have
right.
no idea where it's going to end, right? We know what the end date is. It could happen any time before that, but we know that it won't happen any later than the 23rd.
I need it now.
Mike.
Yeah, I think we all do.
We do.
It's so boring as 2 weeks. So
we appreciate it, Mike. Thank you as always.
Yep. Take care.
All right, great to connect with Mike Fehren, MLB Network Radio. Jim's back page. Are you ready for that, Jim?
Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready. That's next on Jon and Jim. All right, final time here on Jon and Jim.
You know what's weird?
Just kidding on imminent. Yeah, just kidding on Roki Sasaki.
No, it is
being imminent.
We're
It is
hours.
because Mike just okay, but it didn't happen during our 4-hour show.
No, and hopefully it doesn't happen not during our 4-hour show.
Right. Just kidding.
So we behind the curtain.
Oh, here we go. We're going. Yeah.
So
this curtain.
We share YouTube accounts for Jon and Jim channel, right?
I mean, yes, I can see. Like, I can log in as Jon and Jim, John Schaefer, Aztec's wrap-up show, or the Padres wrap-up show.
Right. And I look at all my YouTube stuff either on Jon and Jim or wrap-up show.
Why don't you look at it from Jim Russell? Don't you just have
and
it?
It's
Jim
so
Russell?
funny because you see what I look at, right?
Yeah, because when I go to Jon and Jim here, so here's what's on my page right now. Star Wars Skeleton Crew 1x8 finale reaction. The real good guys. I won't read some of it. I won't read some of it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
It's not bad. Don't worry.
No, Daredevil, Born Again, Retribution, trailer reaction.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay rips into microwave Mexican food. This is all your like YouTube suggested videos.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
my YouTube suggested videos are all
Conference
Mountain West
realignment.
Conference
Yeah.
expansion.
Yep.
Seriously, look at this. John Schaefer, let's see. Real quick. Next year's changes to the college football playoff. Julian Bowie and Alvaro Cardenas after Boise State's win over Wyoming.
Of course.
San Diego State basketball highlights. Is Northern Illinois making a mistake by going to the Mountain West?
Go back to Jon and Jim real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is it? Scroll down.
I am.
Keep going. Maybe it's on wrap-up show. But I've been obsessed with this new channel. It's not even a new channel. It's like,
what is it?
It's called The Outdoor Boys.
The Outdoor Boys?
Yeah. Keep scrolling. Maybe it shows.
What do they do?
It's not they, it's a him. And
what does him do?
He like lives in Alaska.
Oh,
he
I
has
saw that somewhere.
millions and millions of views. Like each one of his videos get like 30 million
What's
views.
it called?
Outdoor Boys.
And what does he do?
He goes and like camps in like Alaska in like awful conditions and like survives for like 3 nights.
3 days in Arctic survival shelter,
Yeah.
solo bushcraft camping and blacksmithing.
Yeah, how many views does that have?
13 million for 2 weeks.
So he's pretty much Bear Grylls.
How?
Right?
I thought Roki Sasaki was a big deal.
Dude, go to his channel.
I am.
Every
Oh
one
my
of the-
gosh, he's carrying a huge tree.
Yeah. Yeah. So click on it.
I did.
Look how many subs he has.
He has 13 million subscribers.
Yet every one of his videos gets like 20 million views.
Amazing.
It's incredible.
Maybe we should start something like that.
And he goes out and he just like builds fires and builds
Right.
shelter and then cooks food. And he survives like a couple nights in like awful weather.
Incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be talking a little more camping and a little less Roki.
Probably. If we had 13 million views on a camping video, guess what?
We'd be doing a lot.
We're
of
doing
camping.
a lot of camping
A
videos.
lot. All right, let's get to it.
All right, I got a couple pizza stories and a Taco Bell story on the back page
great. I love
today.
pizza.
First up, Eli Manning in a promotion with Pizza Hut and Hidden Valley Ranch for the Super Bowl will be giving away a signature pizza that's signed by Eli Manning in ranch sauce. So fans of football pizza and ranch dressing and collectibles will have a chance to win a Hidden Valley Ranch signature pizza autographed by Eli Manning in dressing and, quote, delivered by Pizza Hut. Here is the weird promotion for it.
Okay.
Oh, that's not the weird part?
No, it gets weirder. The promotion for the new bottle design for Hidden Valley Ranch, which will provide Eli with, quote, precise control while signing the pizza. The brand will give one winner of the, quote, once in a lifetime autographed pizza that will be encased in resin and authenticated by PSA.
Thank you, because I was wondering. I was like,
Yeah,
how the hell are you
amazing.
going to keep a pizza?
Right. No,
that,
that's
you know?
interesting.
Along with a year supply of ranch and Pizza Hut.
I think the big winner there would just be the year supply of Pizza Hut and ranch.
Now, 10 runners-up will receive year's supply of pizza and ranch. Entry to the contest requires fans to use one of the 3 images of the pizza and post to Instagram prior to February 9th.
10 runners-up will get an autographed pizza, autographed by Cooper and barbecue sauce.
I would much rather I would want to be a runner-up. Like, I don't want a pizza signed by Eli that's encased in resin.
Why don't we partner with like Tatis
and do what?
And do something similar, and then
like encase one of his shoes?
Right.
No.
Okay.
It's much more fun when it's pizza.
Okay.
Domino's is offering 50% off all pizzas through January 19th. Domino's is kicking off 2025 with a deal that you will not want to miss. The chain just announced a 50% discount on its iconic pizzas, but act fast. The offer won't last. From now through Sunday, January 19th, customers can score 50% off any menu price pizza when ordering online or through the Domino's app. The discount applies to all 5 crust types, including handmade pan, hand-tossed, crunchy thin, New York style, and gluten-free.
I'm at the website right now, and it's 50% off.
The half-off promotion runs through Monday through January 19th.
So, I mean, what's that going to cost you, though? Like a pizza's what? $12.99 normally?
So $6.
$6-7?
I'm down.
Okay. I like it.
According to a report, Taco Bell is turning up the heat on a new birthday cake churro balls that will be debuting on February 20th to March 5th.
Churro balls.
Yeah. During the limited time run, customers can indulge in the collaboration by purchasing a single churro for $1.99 or a 2-pack for $2.99. I'm down for a birthday cake churro at Taco Bell.
I'm kind of surprised that it's not a Baja Blast flavored churro, since
they'll try that.
Everything has to taste like Baja Blast.
They'll try that.
All right, so head over to Taco Bell. Available now?
No, February 20th, John.
So
like I said,
after
February 20th.
After
and that's U.S. Taco Bells.
U.S. Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's available
in Jamaica,
in Guatemala.
Select Jamaican locations only. What if it happened?
Like, stop everything!
What if the Pats in like passing bomb drop right now? Nothing. Right now. Refresh one more time. I got nothing. Back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Brian Dutcher
Roki
Show.
with 2 Ks just signed.
Yeah, exactly. Brian Dutcher Show tomorrow night at 6 p.m. We're here tomorrow at 2. If you missed anything, sportsnc.com. Find us on social media at Jon and Jim. JONANDJIM. We're on the app. We're on YouTube. We're back tomorrow for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Okay, peace out, bye.
Bye-bye.